Ayo, Shalom.
Said I'm not coming in peace, I'm coming with a sword. And we
God is gonna come with fire, man. That's what's coming to this place. Fire.
That's not happening about the various slave trades that established everyone else's economy.
This devil knows he has but a short time, and he's shaking in his boots.
And this place has done evil that you can't imagine. And it is not just this place.
Because we in the midst of darkness. Right? So
if you eat consciously enough, you'll be aware of every single thing you put inside yourself.
all right. Shalom. Shalom, everybody. Shalom to the family that's online. I really hope that everybody's been okay. You know what I'm saying? Today they're just pushing so much on us, from work, to all the chemicals we're aware of that they're pushing on us. And one thing that we're not aware of the importance of is stress. They stress us on so many levels. Then you go back home, if you have a rib, if you have a husband, you go back home and then you have to deal with that, kids, and so much so often. Sometimes we just forget to just give back to ourselves, or you can be somebody who's always on the go. It's important to, decompress and just give back to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether it just be going to the gym, going to a sauna, and just relaxing, not doing anything. Don't pick up the phone that day. Just relax. You know what I'm saying? Sleep if you have to. Go out. Right now it's not that warm. You know what I'm saying? But it's warmer than what it would be, but it's still not that warm. We could just go buy water. But for those who are down south, go and buy some water. You know what I'm saying? In nature. Sisters, whatever you have to do to give back to yourself, go get your nails done, your hair done, you know what I'm saying? Go get a massage, you know what I'm saying, from the gooch. But because they be doing a good job. But we got to start giving back to ourselves, so that way we're able to give, we're able to give to each other, we're able to give to the workforce, we're able to just give, so I just really hope that everybody's in a well place, and I hope that everybody's really taking care of their well-being, because that gets overlooked a lot, and that's extremely important. You got to give back to yourself. There's a couple of announcements that I want to make. One is that this Saturday, headquarters is doing a food drive or soup drive. We're gonna be passing out chicken noodle soup. And, brothers haven't been donating their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Brothers haven't been hitting up Mahayar about, if they're going to be in attendance or not. There's many facets of this ministry. And one is definitely giving back to our people. You know what I'm saying? Feeding them, clothing them, giving them the necessities of the things that they don't have. So as long as with the word, you feed them physically with some nourishment, and then you give them the word. You build with people. You get to see what's going on in your community. And a lot of times when we do that, sometimes we're not doing camp, usually those are like flyer missions. You get to really build with people. You really get to see the state of your nation. You know what I'm saying? Hands on. So, I think that brothers should definitely get to my IR as soon as possible, so he understands the brothers that he's working with, and things could get done decently and in order. And then let me check my calendar real fast, make sure I'm right. Barak already told me, but then I know everybody. So I just want to say one thing real fast. So all holy days are important. I'm gonna say that again. All holy days are important. I know that it's been stated where Passover is going to be. I know people are trying to get their funds right and things of that nature. I know scriptures tell you there are, I believe, 3 high holy days: Passover, first fruits, and tabernacles, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are those are the high holy days. But that doesn't mean that we don't regard the other holy days in high regard as well, you know. And I'm saying that to say, you have Purim that's coming up, and that's going to be it's going to be sundown the 22nd to the 24th. So sundown 22nd to sundown 24th. We're going to be commemorating it on the 24th. We're going to be commemorating Purim on the 24th of February. That is a Friday. That is a Friday. If you're in the vicinity, or if you're not too far away from, other brothers, link up together. You know, if you can't get to Rum South or Rum headquarters, link up together. You know, and so, you know, try to commemorate it and hold it in high regard as best as possible. You know, so those are the things that I wanted to make. Before everybody write a con if y'all got those announcements. Everybody write a con if y'all got those announcements in the chat. Yeah, we're gonna commemorate it on the 24th, but it's the 22nd to the 24th. So 22nd sundown to the 24th sundown. But we're going to commemorate it because the 22nd is the middle of the week. Right, and the Friday, the 24th, the 24th of February. Yeah, see, that's why we're going over this now. End of December, so that way we got good time in advance to plan. Right, you know, the 24th. So I'm gonna say it again. Purim is the 22nd sundown to the 24th sundown. But we're going to commemorate it on the 24th. That should be a Friday. If I'm tripping, I could be tripping. Oh yeah, hold on. You might be right. I'm tripping. Good luck, Izar. Hold on. The 23rd, Salakia. The 23rd. We're gonna commemorate on the 23rd. 23rd, Salakia. The 23rd, we're going to be commemorated that Friday. You know, sisters that's in headquarters, you know, get with Panah. She already has a menu plan. And everybody who is you know, gathering in Rum South, get with Sister Ida. You know what I'm saying? Get that spread away. I was looking back in 2023. That's where I was at. Everybody's ready to move forward. They said, hold on, nah, we in 2024 with Purim. So the 23rd sundown is when we'll be commemorating it, which will be really in the middle of Purim, because Purim is 2 days. All right. So I purposely, you know, I purposely didn't want to put a title on the class. I think that, you know, after hearing the class, you guys could put a title, formulate a title on your own. Quick question. What's the 3 essential things that humans need to survive? Water.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. What's the 3 essential things that humans need to survive? So a brother said water, a brother said oxygen, and what you say? Food. Those are the 3 things. Food, oxygen, and water. Right? Con. So Trenton, Smith, come. The reason why I'm saying that is because one of the most highest acts of faith, right? Before I even say that, so water, you could only go a certain amount of time without water, right? I believe it's a week. Might be 14 days. You gotta check. You gotta check online about that. You gotta check your science facts on that. But I know food, it's like 14 to like 21 days you go without food, no water. That's what I'm talking about. And then air, you can't go. You can barely last minutes without air. You know, I think the Navy SEALs, you know, they can hold their breath up to 3 to 5 minutes. But other than that, it's you're done. So those are the 3 essential things, right? And one of the highest things of faith, one of the highest acts of faith that you can do is to go without, right? So there's different types of fasts, right? There's dopamine fast where you know, you're not on your phone, you're not on social media, you know, and you're not entertaining the things that are, you know, coming at you, you know, from TV to social media to scrolling on YouTube and all of those things. You take a break, music, you take a break from those things to reset your mind, you know, and which proves it works scientifically. It resets your dopamine. You know, dopamine is something that's important because it's your reward system. You know, when you reset your reward system, what ends up happening is it builds a greater work ethic, right? Because now you start to understand, instead of instant gratification, you start putting your mind, your body, and your spirit through delayed gratification, which means that the progress in the process in which it takes to achieve a goal, now you're more capable, you're more focused, you're more diligent when it comes to being on that process. So those is cool. You know, you have the Daniel fast, you know, those things where it's just water, you know, fruit, you know what I'm saying, vegetables, nuts, things of that nature. But what I want to highlight today, you know, one, I want to ask everybody online, when's the last time you fasted? You know what I'm saying? And everybody here, when's the last time y'all fasted? You know, there's an instruction that YHWH, he said, and we're going to go over the importance of it, you know, from a different perspective. And hopefully, you know, y'all learn something from the end of today, because there's some profound things that a lot of people didn't know that we're going to go into. You know, one of the highest acts that you can do, I'm not talking about a dopamine fast, I'm not talking about a Daniel fast, is to give up food. It's essential for your body. As soon as you start to deprive yourself of food, I know sometimes we say, oh, there's no nutrition in food. That's not true. You know, my rib and I, we shop at local farms. We don't just go to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. There's farms in Granby. There's farms in, what's it called? Hadley. There's farms all over the place where you could get raw milk, you could get fruits from, you could get vegetables from fresh. I've asked and I've been inquisitive on, yo, do you use pesticides? What type of pesticides do you use? These Edomites, certain Edomites, they're really taking care, because they understand what's going on in the world. They're really taking care of their ground. They're really taking care of their crops. So not all the food is messed up and all bad. Most of it is, but you gotta be adamant on trying to put good food in your body, because one thing that we should be trying to do, you know, as a body, is really trying to plant. Like Shai the other day, he had a class on planting. Well, we should take that further. You can grow easy things in your house. My mother used to grow things all the time in our house: basil, tomatoes, all types of stuff that you could just, those are little ingredients that you could just grow, grab from, you know, wherever you got it at, and use in the house. You know what I'm saying? To put better nutrition back in your body. You know, so there's manganese, there's magnesium, there's zinc, there's a phosphate, there's a B12 minerals, B6 minerals, fatty acids, all in foods that we need, that are essential to our bodies to survive. But and mind you, this is not a health class. You know what I'm saying? This is not a health class, but I'm making a point. So I just want y'all to know that it's not a health class. But you know, these things are essential for our bodies to survive, right? And when you deprive yourself of those things, your body goes into shutdown mode, right? And so it's in sacrifice. You're sacrificing your livelihood to appease or to ask something of the Father. That's a great act of faith, right? If you want the Father to listen to you, you're showing him by depriving yourself of something that's essential for your body that you need every day. You know what I'm saying? And you're willing to give that up so that way you can incline to him, or he can incline his ear to you, or so that way you can get answers, or just as, you know, and I'm not talking about, come on, that don't count. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting either. That doesn't count for what I'm saying. I'm talking about an actual fast, 3 days or more, no food. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? 3 days or more. I'm talking about deep fasting, because you're going to see why I'm talking about deep fasting.
Or even having a real, true, sincere reason why you're
I was getting
it's not just because it's the Sabbath, or
right.
You know, it's a tradition that you do. It's having to have a real sincere, you know, reason to want to fast. You know, do you want to build intimacy with the Most High?
Right.
Are you going through something? Are you trying to reach clarity? There's a purpose behind the fast. It's not just a tradition or something that you're doing, you know, that is kind of like a culture. You just do it.
Con. And another thing is too, you want to be careful for how frequent you fast. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to make fasting, it's a balance, right? You want to fast often, but you don't want to fast so frequently that the essence of fasting, it gets lost. The power of fasting gets lost. You know what I'm saying? You're weakening your flesh. You're showing the Most High, I'm weakening my. It's not something that you're supposed to get used to, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you go in a deep fast. You know. So yeah. We're gonna get into the scriptures. You know. Let's get Matthew chapter 17. And 13.
Matthew chapter 17 and verse 13. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic.
Remember that word. For he is lunatic. Write that word down. Whatever you got to do. Remember, lunatic. Go ahead.
And sore vexed, for oft times he falleth into the fire and off into the water.
So I have a question for everybody, right? I'm kind of jumping the gun, but what do spirits want to do to you? It's two things.
Like unclean spirits? What type of spirits?
Evil spirits, lunatics.
Harmony?
How?
Possession?
Okay. What's the end result? What do spirits want to do?
Destroy you.
How?
They gain from you.
I would say take away from you spiritually, but at the same time make you give into the influence of whatever it is and ultimately lose control of yourself.
Okay, so distract you, lose control of yourself, right? So that's one, right? Yep, Bano, take you off of the power. Off the power. Take you off the path, right? Go ahead. There's one more.
I would say deceive you into believing that, you know, your sin is correct, like it's the right way.
Okay. All that's kind of with the right GANAN, same, right? Sin.
Like control. Distort you.
Huh?
Distort you.
The same thing. They're gonna see too by the end of this. Hopefully everything's clear. Control you, Khan. The tons of art, man. Pull up. But they want to kill you. They want to kill you. You know what I'm saying? They want to derail you off of the path, right? Because this path of life, this path of light ensures that you're going to be your higher self, the best version of yourself, right? A lot of everybody here, you know, we have Proverbs 31 women, and we have, which is a virtuous woman, right? We have kings, we have noblemen, we have warriors, we have priests, we have teachers, we have princes. That's who we are, right? And they want you to believe and derail you from everything that's, they want you to come up short, basically. It's either that or they really want your demise. They want to kill you. We're going to prove that, right? Read that last part again. What was the lunatic doing to that individual?
For oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water.
So is that figuratively or literally? That's literally. What does that mean? That spirit that was on that person was trying to drown them. Oft times into the what?
And oft into the water.
So they would constantly go into the water.
Suicide.
Yes, suicide. Right. They'll drown themselves or try to burn themselves. Right? Go ahead.
And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him.
So listen to that. Read that again.
And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him.
So that person brought that spirit, that evil spirit, the person who's dealing with that evil spirit, to YHWH's disciples. But what happened?
And YHWH answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me.
So they could not do it. They could not cast out this evil spirit or this lunatic from this person. Right? Go ahead.
And YHWH rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And
so YHWH rebuked the spirit out of him, then he departed. Now, I want to say this, right? Now, there's different levels of evil spirits, right? There's different levels of demon. Man, you have a demon, man. Actually, Apayat, if you can real quickly, pull up a quick YouTube video of a pastor performing what they would call an exorcism.
It's part of the stage.
You have spookism, which the Christian church deals with, and Hollywood deals with. You have the Exorcist with that girl with crazy hair, tongue all the way down here, spinning her head. Like, no, that's not demons. Although it can, there's different levels. I'm going to show y'all that. That looked ridiculous right there. Yeah, yep, that's the spirit, because you was looking at the same thing. Yeah, click that one.
Who are you in this body?
Come on, man.
Make him a street. I started taking him since he was 8.
Okay.
He hurt me.
You took him when he was 8.
Yes.
You, Lucifer? It doesn't matter how long you have been in him. You are coming out. Out! Out!
Come on.
Out of his body! Out! 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 Thank you, Lord. It is done. You are free in Jesus' name. Rise up.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Who is in his body?
So go ahead, X that out. So we're gonna revisit that actually. But that is the spookism, right? That goes on in your Christian churches in Hollywood, right? So the demon possession can be simply explained as, a mindset that is overtaking you or influencing you or consuming you, and that's making you go off, right? that's keeping you from the path of truth or making the right decision, right? There's times where, you know, the mighty Shy, Captain Shy, the mighty Captain Yawasop and I, you know, we was on the phone with a brother, and, you know, this brother was struggling to see, you know, where they erred, you know, and a lot of people don't know that, you know, that right there, that brother had a spirit on him that we were trying to cast out at the time, you know, because that brother was in his strong delusion. That brother was in a certain mindset that wasn't allowing him to see how he was erring, right? And he wasn't able to see or apply the counsel that we was giving him at the time, right? So we lost that battle. We end up losing that battle. You win some, you lose some, because there's been times where we was all on the phone, and there's brothers that has listened to our counsel. You know, it's being able to, through the spirit of the Most High, being able to persuade or convince that brother to come out of the mindset that they have that's bringing them or swaying them from the truth. Is that clear for everybody? Does anybody have any questions to that? Go ahead.
So YHWH was a master at convincing spirits to get out.
I'm gonna go into that because I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but to answer your question, there's levels of spirits. There's levels, and I'm gonna go into something. So you're gonna see what YHWH was doing, because he was dealing with things on all levels, right? But yes, he did do that. He was able to do that at a rebuke and you know persuade and convince spirits to come out of certain brothers based off of the level of spirit that they was dealing with, right? Because sometimes it is just a mindset. Sometimes you're influenced and consumed in what you're thinking, your pride, or whatever the case may be, your fornication, somebody of a certain rank would have to come and counsel you, admonish you, rebuke you, so that way you could come back to your senses, right? Because you was on your senses, and then something, right, or your mindset or whatever you're dealing with allowed you to get off the path. Now somebody got to come and bring you back, right? So is that clear?
Yeah, because I don't believe all that.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's, like I said, that's spookism. We don't deal with that, right? That's that Hollywood sprays, the sprinkling the holy water, right? You know what I'm saying? And then you start seeing things, smoke and stuff like that coming off of the person, and then them spinning their heads, twisting and crawling on the ceilings and stuff like that. They try to. And then another reason why they try to do that is to get you to be more afraid of what that person's dealing with, when you have the power, you know, in the spirit of YHWH to cast it out. But there are times where you will lose battles, and there are times where you'll prevail through the spirit of YHWH. You know, there was a time where is that clear for everybody? Is that clear for everybody what I just said as far as is that clear for what I just said before I move on? I don't want to go too fast. So he said, run that back. So brother or sister could be in a certain mindset, right? Because this is the path of truth, right? This right here, we're on the path of truth. Everybody's woken up to the truth. And you could be struggling with the mindset or to see where you are, right? Or something could be influencing you or consuming you, whether you're dealing with a drunkard spirit, whether you're dealing with a fornication spirit, whether you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with that has you off of the path, you'll need to be persuaded or convinced through the spirit of YHWH, through a brother, in order to make you understand where you're off at. Because what ends up happening is when these things, when this mindset takes a hold of your mind, then you're in a place where nobody could tell you nothing. Right? And so you need to be counseled, admonished, rebuked, right? In order for you to understand what you're doing is wrong, or in order for you to understand and get yourself to come back to your senses. Because sometimes you'll be sitting there contending with a brother or sister for hours. But nah, brother, you know what I'm saying? I don't see that. And you're contending with a spirit. It's just as simple as that sometimes. You're literally contending with the spirit. Because somebody may be puffed up because of, or because they've been in a certain marriage, or because they've been, this job is working out for them. So they don't see how that's hindering them from the body. They're stuck and set in their ways, and you need to shake them out of that. You understand? And it's in order for them to come to their senses, to observe what is going on, observe the truth of the matter. Sometimes, a lot of times, dealing with Jake, our pride gets in the way of that, right? But how is that not? That's my rib now, bro. You fornicated. But nah, I didn't fornicate. We've been talking for 2 weeks, and you know what I'm saying, that everything's right, and bro, you fornicated. It doesn't. Who do you know in 2 weeks? I'm telling you, but she bad, man. Oh, so now that here's the real. Now the demon exposing itself. She bad. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to let her go. You know what I'm saying? That's you'll deal with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead. This is Sirach chapter 32, verse 17. A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will.
Right. And that's a spirit. That's a spirit, yo. A simple, we'll say that again. Read that again.
This is Sirach chapter 32, verse 17. A sinful man will not be reproved.
Will not be reproved. So when that mindset has a strong possession over you, when you're solidified, when your conscience is seared with a hot iron and nobody can move you from that, that is a spirit. And it takes somebody of a strong spirit that's in the spirit of YHWH to convince you otherwise. So that way you can come back to your what? Senses. Khan, everybody following me?
Quick reset.
That's right, y'all. What's up? And come on, we could actually go into that. Somebody could probably do a class on that. You know what I'm saying? About because that is a class because he said, and how long do you have to know a woman for it not to be fornication? Like, that's a whole class on courtship. That's a whole class on courtship right there. Shai said he got you. I don't want to give you the long and short, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to derail and deviate, but that's a long answer. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I'll say this, Kawan. Why are you courting a woman, and why is a woman being courted by a man? For what?
They got certain traits.
For what?
For marriage.
For what?
For marriage.
So you have different levels, right? Everything has levels in this world. You have friends, you have boyfriend and girlfriend. So now you're exclusive, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, you are exclusive, right? Then you have engaged. I'm serious about this person. Still testing the waters, right? I'm serious about this person. All right. They know that there's longevity. We're both on the same page. She said yes. I'm just going carnally for what but Babylon does have some wisdom when it comes to also courting, right? So there's different levels. So now we're engaged. Boom, now we're married. A lot of people, when they come into the understanding, they don't know that marriage is the major league of all relationships. Marriage, this is a serious thing that you're going to unify two bodies, spirits, and minds before the Most High. That's a very, very serious thing. Brothers be thinking about, it's a good-looking sister, when am I going to get the buns? Sisters be thinking about, when am I going to get the rod? This is being real. Because she might have been celibate for 2 years, and she like, this brother fine. Burning. Like, and, you know what I'm saying? He worked out, you know what I'm saying? He keep clean cut and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Her mind might go off too, because it's not only brothers that their mind go off, right? But you need to understand the ups and downs. You need to be able to make sure that you guys have the right mindset, because after marriage, what's going to happen? Kids. So now you're in the major league. So now you've courted, you've vetted this person to the major leagues, right? Of all relationships. But guess what? You don't understand your spouse until either, because sometimes if you're in their older age, y'all come together with kids already. But if you're not in your older age, if you're mid or younger, you won't really know your partner until you have kids with them. That shifts the whole dynamic of your relationship. So a lot of times people be trying to rush the process. A lot of times people don't have value. They don't see the value of courtship and what it actually brings. So 3 months is way too short. You really, if you're really serious about marriage and who you're about to have, you really want to at the least do a year. I know a brother, he waited 3, and he was blessed. You know what I'm saying? His woman was in her 30s, no, her late 20s, and she was a virgin. You know what I'm saying? She was waiting to save herself for somebody, and he waited 3 years. He waited 3 years with her. And this was a brother, this was a, handsome brother. You know what I'm saying? Got women and all that. We used to joke about getting all the, all the stories and all of that. He waited, and now he has a beautiful family with her. I'm not saying they don't go through things, but he put value in what he was, because he understood the longevity. So that's something to think about, Shai. I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
So I'm reading the comments. 1 Corinthians 7:9 was cool. First of all, if you read, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, that still does not disseminate or get rid of the time dispensation of you getting to know one another. Again, the law states that you would want to realistically at least a year to court a woman, because you guys are realistically doing homework on one another. You can have the intention to marry. However, the progress of the intention kind of gets muddy when you realize that the character between the intention of you trying to marry the woman or marry the man falls short. When you fall in love emotionally with the chemistry, you forget the character. And many times marriages are strictly, or even go about by the way of chemistry, and forgetting the whole point of trying to develop the character in the process of you courting one another.
Right.
So we're in an age where we're in captivity, and realistically, some of us or many of us have gone through past experiences to where some of us courted 6 months, some of us courted 9 months, some of us have been single for 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. So where wisdom is applied, you have to get to know one another, the ins and outs, the strengths and weaknesses, certain experiences and how you guys react under certain pressures. The whole intent is getting to know one another. Marriage is the end goal. However, the process doesn't take away from what you have to do with this woman before you even physically lie down with her. Right. So when you're reading context in 1 Corinthians 7, laying down with the woman, and you're also trying to apply the law in a realistic world as this, being that we're in captivity, you have to know the difference between the intention of marriage and the process of chemistry and character development so that you even get to that point in the first place. That's the end goal, being that we're rehearsing the righteous acts, but you also have to do the homework with one another with chemistry and character development.
Well said. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, in short, you know, 1 Corinthians 7 and 9 isn't an excuse for you to just go out and just lay with a woman. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want that to be misconstrued. You know what I'm saying?
It's a costly mistake.
Because wisdom supersedes the spirit of courting and being married, supersedes, you know, if it's better to burn, it's better to marry than to burn. You know what I'm saying? And once you start to understand the preciousness of marriage and the unification between two that agree together before the Lord, that's something that is beautified in Sirach, as it says, before the Most High. You know, a brother getting to know a woman for 2 months, and just because they're both burning for or they have a lustful desire or a strong desire, they lay down. Well, you tell me how that marriage is gonna go, right? Even 10 months, 6 months. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, everybody's situation is different. But what I'm trying to get y'all to think about is, how long does it take you to know somebody? Just a brother. Think about a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long does it take you to?
Here's how all relationships are in the spirit. This is that conversation, right? You could immediately meet somebody and it'll feel like you've known somebody your whole life. Like, there's certain relationships where you automatically click and y'all rapport with one another in the spirit will mirror the relationship that you would have as if y'all walk with Christ together.
Right.
Whether it be a brother, a rib, or just a connection in general. That's why you got to have discernment, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know how to operate when you try to abide by the law and maneuver through it in the spirit. Because again, the intention of all things matters.
Come. So, and Shy, he gonna do a breakdown for that. He said he got you. But so lunatic. So that person, that spirit was causing that person to try to commit suicide, right? It said it caused them often to go in the water and the fire, right? And that spirit got brought to YHWH's disciples, and they could not cast out that spirit. You know, there was a time too, the general and me and the general, we was on the phone with a brother, and this brother was extremely prideful. You know, so prideful, he ended up banging on us. You know what I'm saying? He ended up hanging up the phone on us. And we wasn't able, you know, we took the L that day. But there's times where him and I was on the phone and we had powerful builds and we was able to cast out spirits. Or in other words, they listened to our counsel when they was prideful about their own mindset. Does that make sense, Khan? Khan. Right? So, let's get Acts 19 and 8. Kanye, what's up? You know, and it's funny because, like, the last thing I'll say about this, you got to think about like where we're coming from. You know, we're coming from a low place. You know, we're refining and reforming ourselves, right? So we're learning and practicing and rehearsing the righteous acts. We're getting our culture back. We're getting our heritage back, right? We're learning. A lot of us who are quote unquote, I'm talking about everybody. So young and old, who are quote unquote mature, there's a difference between being mature in the spirit. There's a whole different ball game. You know what I'm saying? You could be in your old age, but still be immature, not on some laughing and busting jokes all the time, but your level of understanding is not there yet. That's what I mean by immature in the spirit. You know? So, something to think about. Acts chapter 19, verse 8.
This is Acts chapter 19 and verse 8.
Tripping.
And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing and persuading.
So who's this? Paul. So read that again.
And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months.
Hold on real fast. We can start from 4.
Verse 4. Then said Paul, John verily baptized with the baptism of repentance, saying unto the people that they should believe on him which should come after him, that is, on the Mashiach YHWH. When they heard this, they were baptized in the name of the Lord YHWH. When Paul had laid his hands upon them, the Holy Spirit came on them, and they spake with tongues and prophesied. And all the men were about 12. And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months.
So Paul was teaching in the synagogue for 3 months, right? Go ahead.
No. And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing and persuading.
Hold on. Disputing and persuading. Now, I'm not going to say that he was disputing and persuading demons. No. Why? This is a separate point. What was he disputing and persuading? Doctrines, which means that he was doing what? Debating. You know what I'm saying? He was debating, which tells you what? Israel had different doctrines at that time, right? And Paul was trying to do what? Convince them to come out of their doctrine because they was going off. So that's just a separate point. I just wanted to say. So he's in the synagogues disputing, right? What else? And persuading. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
No. Finish up verse 8.
Verse 8. Disputing and persuading the things concerning the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm.
But when diverse were hardened.
So what does that mean? Right. A lot of people weren't listening, just like today. You know, we go out to camp, or you may be at your job, or you may be at a gym, or, you know, or you could be on social media, right? Like Al-Wasab says, right? And you could be debating back and forth, but guess what happens? There's so much pushback. People think that they know what they're talking about when they really don't, especially Christians. Then you have Israelites. You're happy to know that they know that they're Israelites, but their doctrine is way off. Right? So this was what Paul was doing. Just in case anybody did not know that Paul was a master debater. Master. All right. Go ahead.
But when diverse were hardened and believed not.
So you have Israelites' hearts that are hardened in their own doctrine, right? Go ahead.
And believed not, but spake evil of that way before the multitude.
So what were they doing? Oh, Paul's bugging. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't got the truth. When he was anointed by YHWH himself, right? He was put on a mission by YHWH. But they're saying he's bugging. Doesn't that happen to us? Oh, shut up. People driving by, you know, Edomites riding by, laughing, scoffing at us. You know, people going back and forth, Twitter fingers. You know what I'm saying? Social media fingers, I should say. Right? Scoffing at us. But this is what we're supposed to do. The Lord says, this is our profession. This is your profession. Believe that. Right? Go ahead.
but spake evil of that way before the multitude, he departed from them and separated the disciples.
So, right? So before the multitude, he departed from them. So after they started saying he was bugging and all of that, he already knew they wouldn't receive it. So he left. Right? Go ahead.
He separated the disciples, disputing daily in the school of one Tyrannus.
So hold on. Now, before we was in the synagogue, now we're in the schools debating. Right? Go ahead. I just wanted y'all to know, like, this is different points. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get right back in it, but I just wanted y'all to see, like, Paul was debating, Paul was disputing, Paul was persuading. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was on different platforms, like y'all was putting on right there in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Debating, disputing, persuading, because this is our profession, right? It's our profession and our obligation and duty to teach the gospel. All right, go ahead.
And this continued by the space of 2 years, so that all they would.
So he did this for how long?
Continued by the space of 2 years.
He did this for 2 years straight. Go ahead.
So that all they which dwelt in Asia heard the word.
Where's he at?
Dwelt in Asia heard the word of the Lord YHWH, both Jews and Greeks.
Right.
And God wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul.
And God did what?
Wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul.
So the Lord blessed Paul, and Paul was able to do miraculous things through the Spirit of the Most High. Huh? Go ahead.
So that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirits.
And the what?
And the evil spirits.
And the what?
And the evil spirits.
Write that down. Write evil spirits down. Lock it in. Remember that. We're going to go into something very heavy. Evil spirits. Okay, go ahead.
And the evil spirits went out of them. And certain of the vagabond Jews, ecstasies.
Hold on. Certain of the vagabond Jews. What does vagabond mean? Out of what?
Don't have a place.
Right. Don't have a place. Right? Jews. Go ahead.
Exorcists.
Hold on. Concord that. Vagabond Jews didn't have a place, right? Don't you know that Paul's teaching in the schools? You know that. He's disputing, persuading, but you're a vagabond. Which means that what? What can you get from that?
Pilgrims?
No, he was a vagabond Jew. In Haiti, in Creole, we have a phrase. It's called vagabond. It's the same thing. Vagabond. You out there, hoodlum, you know what I'm saying? Rebellious. It's the same thing. Vagabond Jew. You know that anointed of the Lord is teaching, persuading, disputing in school, in these schools, teaching the true gospel, right? And you're a vagabond Jew, right? And you're trying to perform exorcisms. And there's a difference between exorcism and casting out. We're gonna get it right now.
This is G 1845. Exorcistes is a masculine noun for exorcist. It is he who extracts an oath of one.
He who what?
Extracts an oath of one.
An oath of one. What does an oath mean?
Promise.
Right. So if you're extracting something by way of oath, what are you doing? What does an oath mean? When you oath something, you just said it. Making a what?
Promise.
So what are you doing?
Making a deal.
You're making a deal with the demon. That's what an exorcism is. You're making a deal with that spirit. That's crazy, right? That means that there's a difference. When YHWH was casting out spirits, he didn't make deals with the spirits.
Right.
He said, get out. Be gone. That's what he said when full authority, right? But when they make that, when you perform an exorcism, you're actually making a deal with a demon. Sometimes when you look into it, a lot of pastors or magicians, what they would do back in past and ancient times is they would make a deal with that spirit to leave it for another spirit to come in them. And that's how they would perform. So you're just replacing a spirit with a lesser spirit. You can look that up. That's what magicians and wizards and warlocks would do when they would perform exorcisms. And there's no difference because that's what the spookism, that's what Christians do today. They're saying, in the name of Jesus, sprinkle holy water. You're not doing anything at all. You don't even understand. You don't even have the discernment to understand what's going on in this person's life. You don't know the magnitude of the level of spirit that this person's dealing with. So you don't even know what they need. Right? Go ahead.
Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord YHWH, saying, we adjure you.
So they was using the name of Christ, right? Go ahead.
We adjure you by YHWH, whom Paul preacheth. There were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew, and chief of the priests, which did so. And the evil spirit answered and said,
listen to what the demon said. Listen to what the evil spirit said.
YHWH I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye?
The spirit said, I know YHWH and Paul, but I don't have the slightest clue about who you are. Go ahead.
Another question. I know when, I know that YHWH, he rebuked that person that had leprosy. And, he told him go to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was permanent. So when it said, what is it? When it says cast away, and when he was in the wilderness, it says the devil left for a season. So I'm trying to understand, like, what's something permanent and something that
I'm gonna get into that because what did I open with?
Right.
What did I open with? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Huh?
That's what is it? You making an analogy?
No, I opened up with fasting.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna get into that.
Oh.
Because that's the meat of the matter, right? Go ahead. Concord cast out real fast. Yes, yeah, what's up? Come on, man. You revealing things. But yeah, you now I gotta speak about it. But yes, you definitely must be sent, by the Most High to deal with these matters, from brothers, sisters bugging out, like I said, there's times where Shy and myself, or Shy and Yawsab, or all 3 of us, was on the phone, brothers, and through the Spirit of the Lord, because it's really not us, He used us to be able to cast out that spirit, or that person who was being contentious with us was struggling, and we persuaded them through our counsel. And the same thing I've been with the general, me and the general. We've won many through the Spirit of the Most High. We lost a few. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely have to be sent, and those matters are the heavier the spirit, the stronger you got to be in the spirit as well, because those you can end up being overtaken by that spirit as well, or convinced, right? Because some people will try to convince you that there's nothing wrong with them, but if you have a keen spirit, you'll be able to weed through that. You got cast out.
Cast is G906. It is to throw or let go of a thing.
To what?
To throw or let go of a thing.
To let go of a thing. To throw it away. To let it go. Is it still attached to you when you throw it away or let it go? Right? It's not. Go ahead.
Without caring where it falls.
Without caring with. Go ahead.
To scatter.
To scatter. Go ahead.
To give over to one's care, uncertain about the results.
No, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But when you throw or let go of something, it's no longer attached to you. That's what YHWH and the disciples and the apostles were doing. They were casting out things, evil spirits. Does everybody understand? Everybody following me so far? All right, write a comment if y'all following me so far. And you see that even the disciples, when they was in their lower ranks in the spirit, they was getting their behinds whooped by spirits. But what happened when YHWH left? They morphed. You know what I'm saying? And they were sent by YHWH, and they was able to cast out, spirits and evil spirits. Please write that down because we're gonna go into that. All right, so everybody's following me. Go ahead. Watch what happens. He said, I know YHWH and I know Paul, but who are you? Watch what he did to them. Go ahead. Watch what the spirit did to them.
Verse 16. And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them.
So the spirit that was talking to say, who are you? He leaped on them. Right? Go ahead.
And overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded.
Yeah. But what ended up happening? Naked and wounded. That spirit was tearing them up. Right? They got whooped out by that spirit. Right? Let's get Matthew chapter 8. Matthew chapter 8. Khan, y'all, what's up? Khan. Where the heck? Ready when you are, sir. Verse 1. Yeah.
This is Matthew chapter 8 and verse 1. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And YHWH put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And YHWH saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way. Show thyself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded.
That's what you was talking about.
For a testimony unto them. And when YHWH was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. YHWH saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh, and to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. When YHWH heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And YHWH said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the self-same hour.
So right now, YHWH is walking through the scene, and he's healing. He's healing people of sicknesses. He's healing people of diseases. And just stay in tune. I just want everybody to make sure that they're paying attention because we're gonna go into something. Go ahead.
And when YHWH was coming to Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick.
And healed how many?
And healed all that were sick.
Not some. He healed all of them. It says, when the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out spirits with his word and healed all that were sick. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 17. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Now when YHWH saw great multitudes about him,
which we're going to get later,
he gave commandment to depart unto the other side.
You're good. So I just wanted you to see that he was in the scene healing sicknesses and diseases, some which we think that are different from spirits, but we're gonna see. I got something for y'all later as we go further into the lesson. But it says that he was casting out many possessed with devils. Right? Get Matthew 12 and 22.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 22. There was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him. And so much.
So it says, what? Say it again.
Then was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb.
So blind and dumb. Go ahead.
And he healed them.
Remember that too. Write those words down. Blind and dumb. Go ahead.
And he healed them, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. And YHWH knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Right.
And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
That was a crazy cut. Right. That was so. Go ahead.
And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you. Or how else can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man?
Right.
And then he will spoil his house. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad.
That's good right there. So as you can see, we went there to show you that he was once again healing, casting out devils, but he was healing blind and dumb. What does that mean? Blind and dumb. Write that down. What does that mean? All right, we're going to get into that. Mark 1 and 30.
So Mark chapter 1 and verse 30. But Simon's wife's mother lay sick of a fever, and anon they tell him of her. And he came and took her by the hand and lifted her up, and immediately the fever left her, and she ministered unto them. And at even, when the sun did set, they brought unto him all that were diseased, and them that were possessed with devils. And all the city was gathered together at the door, and he healed many that were sick of diverse diseases, and cast out many devils, and suffered not the devils to speak, because they knew him.
They knew who YHWH was. Right? The first begotten of all spirits. They're going to know who YHWH is.
This means variety.
A variety, yes. Remember, what was the lunatic spirit trying to do? By how? What was the lunatic spirit trying to do? Which is what? They was trying to have that person commit suicide by burning them and drowning them. Just walk with me for a second, man. So we're gonna get there, but first, I want you guys to see all these different examples of what YHWH, or these accounts, I should say, of what YHWH was casting out and healing, right? Luke 4:34. Before we actually get into the meat of the matter.
Pause.
Y'all be forcing it.
Luke chapter 4 and verse 34. Saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee? Thou Yahushua of Nazareth, art thou come to destroy us?
Hold on.
Luke 4:34.
Yeah, but that's kind of like right in the middle, right? So
Let's start up.
yeah.
Start from verse 31. Luke chapter 4 and verse 31. And came down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and taught them on the Sabbath days. And they were astonished at his doctrine, for his word was with power.
For his word was what?
For his word was with power. And in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, and cried out with a loud voice, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God. And Yahushua rebuked him, saying, hold thy
So they
peace.
were scared of Yahushua. And Yahushua didn't want that to be revealed to anybody. Right? Not yet. Go ahead.
Yahushua rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace and come out of him.
Yeah, shut up and get out of him. Right? Go ahead.
And when the devil had thrown him in the midst, he came out of him and heard him not. And they were all amazed and spake among themselves, saying, what a word is this? For with authority and power he commanded the unclean spirits, and they come out. And the fame of him went out into every place of the country round about.
That's good. Now, all right. Let's get Luke 8:2. Guess we're about to slow it down. I just want to get some quick examples, and now we will go into it.
This is Luke chapter 8 and verse 2. And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities.
Hold on. It says in what?
And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits.
Of what?
Of evil spirits.
Of evil spirits. Remember that. Remember I said, remember that word? Evil spirits. Write that down, because we're about to get the definition of what evil spirits actually is. And what I mean by that is not in the scriptures. We're gonna go and show you what the white man today knows as evil spirits, so you can better understand what Yahushua was dealing with back then and what we deal with now, right? Which is all gonna bring a full circle as to why I opened with fasting. All right. So it says, read that part again.
And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils.
Right. So we're gonna hold that. So out of whom went what? 7 devils. 7 devils. Remember that.
And Joanna, the wife of Chusa, Herod's steward, and Susanna.
Hold that and get Luke 7:21.
Luke chapter 7 and verse 21. And in that same hour he cured many of their infirmities and plagues, and of evil spirits, and unto many that were blind he gave sight.
So look at, we have evil spirits that Yahushua is dealing with, right? Cool. I have a book. It's called A History of the Jewish People by Max L. Margulis and Alexander Marx. If y'all can see that. Mind the devil. Don't mind the devil that's on the front. Don't mind the devil that's on the front. Let's go into this book, right?
That's a book by cover.
Oh, okay. Con.
So
Yeah. So it won't get shut down, right?
yeah, I'm gonna try to word it, phrase it differently. If it's in there.
Con. So we're in A History of the Jewish People by Max L. Margulis and Alexander Marx. We're at page 181. 181. Now let's go to see what Esau says evil spirits are. This is gonna be profound. Read the whole highlighted part. I did it for you. Yep.
It says, among those who had received baptism at the hands of John was the Galilean Jesus, son of a carpenter at Nazareth. The conviction came to him that he was the mightier one, the actual Messiah, but he kept this knowledge at first himself. He returned to Galilee and repeated John's call to repentance, for the time is fulfilled, the kingdom of God is at hand. He went about preaching the good tidings in the synagogues and to concourses of the people by the means of parables and by explication of telling passages in Holy Writ, more and more disengaging himself from the accepted manner of the schools and speaking with authority. By virtue of his messianic conscience, he expelled demons in which popular belief saw the source of nervous disorders.
Hold on. Read that again for my people.
It says he expelled demons in which popular belief saw the source of nervous
disorders. Neurological disorders. Don't worry, we're going to get more into that. Go ahead.
And remitted sins.
Remember that. So we're in evil spirits now, right? We just got that Esau understands that YHWH, what we call demons, they know to be neurological disorders. Y'all not following me yet. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. I got something else for y'all. Y'all not peeping how heavy this is right now, but it's all right. We're going to get heavy. Don't worry. Right? I got a biblical and theological dictionary by Richard Watson. Right? We're going to get page 301. Watch this. So it says Esau knows, right, that what we call demons, and evil spirits, they call neurological disorders. Why is that profound? Watch. This all ties into the scriptures too. I'm going to show y'all something. Every part that's highlighted, so you're going to go boom, boom. And you're going to come over here. Boom, boom. Watch this, though. I know you're going to be. I know you're going to get excited. I know you.
YHWH said it best. He said, look at a woman, lust after her, you already committed lust in your mind.
Right. But it gets heavier than that. Watch this.
It says
demoniac. Yep, demoniac.
It says a human being possessed with and actuated by some spiritual malignant being of superior power. The word demon is used by pagan writers often in a good sense and is applied to their divinities, but the demons of Holy Writ are malignant spirits. We are not informed very particularly about their origin or destiny, but we find them represented as, and we consider them as, but we find them represented, and we must consider them, but we find them represented as and evil spirits.
As what?
And evil spirits.
As evil spirits. Hold on. Go ahead.
It says, and we must consider them as in the league with the devil, as the subjects of his dominion and the instruments of his will. They were the immediate agents in all possessions, and to expel or restrain them, or to cure the diseases.
So hold on. So let me put this together for you guys. So they're letting you know that demons are evil spirits. Evil spirits are nervous disorders. nervous disorders also are diseases. Y'all following me? Is everybody following me online? Right, Con, if everybody's following me online. I'm going to break this all the way down. Watch this. It's about to get real detailed.
It says, or to expel or restrain them, or to cure the diseases which they were supposed to occasion, was one of the miraculous gifts of the early times.
Keep going.
With regard to the demoniacs of the New Testament.
So with regards to the demoniacs or demons or evil spirits of the New Testament, watch this.
This writer and his followers contend that among the Jews, certain diseases,
go ahead,
such as madness.
Yo, hold on. Certain diseases such as madness. Watch this. Keep going.
Such as madness and epilepsy.
Yo, hold on. I'll tell you Apaya for a second. Apaya. Google the definition of epilepsy. Exactly. Epilepsy is a disease where you deal with seizures. What do seizures try to do, or how do seizures affect the body? Seizures try to kill you, or they try to stop you from living. Instead of saying kill, right? That's better.
Yeah.
Stop you from living. Yeah. All right. They try to stop you from living. Go ahead. Read that for me, Barak. Look at that. Go ahead. Watch this. Go ahead.
It says
y'all not understanding what's being brought out, man. Let's go, man. It
says a neurological disorder.
Hold on. It says, by virtue of Messianic consciousness, he expelled demons in which popular belief saw the source of nervous disorders, neurological disorders, and remitted sins. So YHWH was going around casting out spirits of epilepsy, of madness. Oh yeah, write down madness. We're going to revisit that. But epilepsy, go ahead. A neurological disorder, a nervous disorder, go ahead.
It says marked by sudden recurrent episodes.
Marked by certain recurring episodes, go ahead.
Of sensory disturbance, loss of consciousness.
Go ahead.
Or convulsions
associated
with abnormal electrical activity in the brain.
So exactly. So first of all, I know a smidge about the body, right? I know that the body works, the whole body's mechanisms, it functions off of electricity.
Right.
If you disrupt the electric path in anywhere, from the brain to the heart to the lungs to the liver to your reproductive system, anywhere, you're going to have dis-ease, right? So you need to make sure your body is always flowing. Men and women is different, right? Man, their concentrated mineral is what? What mineral makes testosterone?
Is it zinc?
Zinc, right? Women, they have testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. A lot of women, especially Israelite women, what ends up happening because we're so damn stressed out, your cortisol and your estrogen go up too high. When your cortisol and your estrogen stress comes up too high, it diminishes your progesterone. Guess what progesterone does in the body? It regulates your estrogen. You need progesterone in order to survive. But if you're having neurological epilepsy disorders, that's going to hinder your body and the flow of everything moving. But let me bring life to epilepsy. Epilepsy is a spirit. That's a high level spirit that wants to make you lose your life, because people who are epileptic also tend to sometimes lose their lives. Because what do demons want to do? They want to make you lose your life, or they want to derail you from the truth of getting to your best self. So this is what YHWH was dealing with. Now, I'm going to say this. Today, I'm somebody who I'm 100% holistic, right? But I have to put this disclaimer out there. I am not a psychiatrist. There's things that psychiatrists knows that I don't even know. It's different chemicals and things of that nature. If I put the time in, I probably could know, be on that level, but I'm not. That's not my field. So if you're dealing with things of that nature, go see a physician. You know what I'm saying? Like, but me, I'm holistic. Now I gotta say my opinion now. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, you know, go deal with what you have to deal with. But I believe that anything in the body could be healed. And I know that anything in the body can be healed. Why? Because all manner of sickness and disease literally means all manner of sickness and disease. That's literal. That's not figurative at all. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe that anything can be healed, then what does that say about your belief in the Most High and YHWH? Right? The only way, and this is yet my opinion again, it's my opinion again, I do not believe you can be healed if the Father has your number. It's the only way. Like, for instance, I'll give you a quick example, then we'll get back to the lesson. Let's say you found out that you had stage 4 cancer, right? And you did go to, you did everything you could do. You bought yourself some time, you know, you changed your diet, you went on healing, you bought the herbs and stuff like that. But you still ended up passing away. The Lord had your number. Like, there's nothing you could do about that. You know what I'm saying? What the Most High wants supersedes your ability to be able to be healed. But if that's not the case, this is yet my opinion, anything could be healed. It doesn't make sense. It does not, this is my opinion again, it does not make sense that anything on this planet can't be healed when we have the God that we have. That doesn't make sense to me. You're talking about someone who's black as heck, put his hand in his bosom and turned white. You're talking about a God that split the Red Sea. You cannot convince me in any way, shape, or form that you cannot be healed of any sickness or disease. It doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? It does not. You can't make me. I know my God. I know is nothing that's too great or too high for him. You know what I'm saying? And YAHWH, which is Raphael, that's the angel, that's the archangel of what? Healing. This master healer is on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Now there's a difference. When you go into the diet for healing versus your own diet, that's two different things. That's two different things. When you're healing yourself, you remove all dairy, all meats, everything. You should only be eating fruits and vegetables and that herbs that you're dealing with. When you're good, you modify your own diet based off how you live and all of that. I'm not some master. I'm not top tier. None of that. All I know for a fact is when you're trying to heal yourself, you go on that diet. And I believe that anything could be healed. That's just me. It doesn't make sense anyway. You can't convince me any other way. Sorry. It doesn't make sense. It won't make sense. Because I'm going to ask you, who's our God? And then it tells you in scriptures that he was healing all manner of sicknesses and diseases. And the disciples were doing the same things. Then he says that you're going to be able to do greater things than that. What does that even mean? How can you break that down any other way? But that's me, right? So epilepsy, right? So neurological disorders, that's an evil spirit, man. That's what I'm trying to get you. That's why I'm hyped. You know what I'm saying? Because that's profound, yo. But guess what? We're about to go into even more things, right? So read that from the top again. It
says, with regard to the demoniacs of the New Testament, this writer and his followers contend that among the Jews, certain diseases such as madness and epilepsy.
So, remember, write madness down. Watch this. Go ahead.
Were usually ascribed to the agency.
Madness and epilepsy. Go ahead.
Were usually ascribed to the agency of evil spirits.
Oh, come on again. Yo, hold on. It says, and certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities. This is Luke 8:2. Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils. Can you please read this again?
It says, such as madness and epilepsy.
Madness and epilepsy. We're going to get what madness is. Go ahead.
were usually ascribed to the agency of evil spirits. This was the current notion and belief of the country. Upon this notion, the ordinary phraseology was built.
So it's, oh, I didn't get that, but it says evil spirits. That's what I want to highlight. Evil spirits. So we're getting what evil spirits. We're highlighting. We're breaking this down for you guys. Is everybody receiving it? Write a con. Everybody receiving it? Con.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that. In the last class I made about women having hysteria, like they was trying to cure women with vibrating chairs and
that's crazy.
That's basically what initiated creation of vibrators. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the symptoms: epilepsy, nervousness, all
that's
of that.
Spirits.
Evil spirits.
That's evil spirits, yo. That's crazy though. But when you think about that, that's crazy to look at that, yo. Because I didn't know that. Yo. It's when I really started studying and researching, I was like, oh snap. Like that was what's going on. Like these were neurological disorders. Yep. And watch this. We're gonna get into it. Watch. Get that.
It says they speak of demoniacs.
They speak of demoniacs, right? Demons, evil spirits. Go ahead.
Not according to the real state of the case.
Not according to the real state of the case. Go ahead.
But according to the notion which the Jews entertained of it.
Go ahead.
Not a few of those demoniacs appear to have been persons of a disordered understanding.
Now they appear to be a person of a disordered understanding. I used to work in a mental health facility. You have schizophrenia. You have manics. You have people who try to do things to harm themselves, cut themselves, swallow things. You have all types of neurological disorders, which YHWH back then was curing and was casting these evil spirits out. That's crazy. You got to think about it. Yo, I've seen people in wheelchairs, people's hands withered, people face lip going this way, eye going this way. I've seen all types of things. I've seen mental health disordered patients get brawling with you every day, wanting to fight with you every day in hostile environments. YHWH was curing and casting these things out. That's what was going on. So now I got you. What I want to show you guys is there's hierarchies. These things, right? There's different levels. You have different levels. These are the end of the spectrum, right? These are the end of the spectrum when you talk about evil spirits. These are the end of the spectrum. Epilepsy. Watch, we're gonna get more. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I just got a question about schizophrenia. People that say that schizophrenic, they say they hear voices. Is that like a thought or like that's an actual voice?
They hear voices like the radio's on.
Like
the radio?
Right.
They hear like voices like that.
Like hey, go hit that guy.
Yeah, because when I was working in a mental health facility, this person they earned themselves incentives like going outside and stuff like that. But they had schizophrenia, which is, I'm like, you're dealing with it from a medical perspective, right, but you're not applying spiritual discernment with your medical perspective, right? Because discernment tells you, why would I let a schizophrenic earn incentives to go outside? You know what I'm saying? And you knew the severity of the case. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mental health worker, and even I knew that because I could read the report and see what they suffer from. But they drowned themselves in the Charles River in Boston. And I said, I said, how the heck can you drown yourself? Because when you try to hold your breath underwater, it's an involuntary thing that happens in your mind. It will not allow you to allow yourself to leave. How do you say that without saying the word?
You fight for your life.
It won't. You fight for your life, basically. Yeah. So, but because of the spirits that person was dealing with, right? That spirits was convincing them to hold themselves under the water, and they drowned themselves.
Off yourself.
Off yourself. They offed themselves.
Because I always thought it was like a thought that I was like, you know what, that's too convincing.
It's not just thoughts. It's like 8 thoughts from 8 different things. Spirits. Like, but it's like here, like radio talk in your head. All that does not be quiet for nothing.
Right.
Go ahead.
If I can too, just another add tidbit to know that Esau's the devil, the white man the devil. He's always the one that has these new diseases named after him. You know what I'm saying? Like Lou Gehrig's disease, or they always got that new disease after them. Pyrotechnics burning stuff down, like the pulmonary burning, like they close with demons, man.
They are. That's heavy as you said that. They are close with demons. Sha'an was saying that they always have diseases named after them, and how like they're basically close with spirits. They're close with evil spirits and demons, which is a fact. You know what I'm saying? That's heavy. You know, that's heavy. But start from the top with that. We're still in a biblical and theological dictionary. We're on page 302. Right? So we got epilepsy, madness.
It says, not a few of those demoniacs appear to have been persons of a disordered understanding, subject to attacks of mania.
Oh my. Now we're getting even more neurological disorders. Mania is, when somebody's really manic, like maniac, they're extremely violent and they're hypersexual. So you always got to be watching your back with a manic. They'll like be cool for a certain time. They'll be having a good time, and then all of a sudden they'll smack you, punch you, kick you, grab you, choke you, put something on you, or they'll try to go after a female. So, man, that's a spirit on them, though. But guess what? That's what evil spirits that YHWH was dealing with back then. It's nothing new. All the above. Right? Go ahead.
Says some of them were afflicted with the epilepsy or falling sickness. Some were deaf and others were dumb.
Read that again. Remember I told y'all to write that down, deaf and dumb? Some were deaf and some were dumb. You thought that was something else. You thought that, nah, that's neurological disorders that YHWH was curing, man. Evil spirits. Some were deaf and some were dumb. We just got in the scriptures how he was curing the deaf and the dumb. Go ahead.
It says, when a demon is said to enter into a man, the meaning is that his madness is about to show itself in a violent paroxysm.
So hold on, before we even read that, right? Because I'm gonna have you read that again. Dang, do I want to do that right now? Nah, I'm gonna bring that up after. All right, nah, go ahead. So when it says paroxa, it's talking about when a spirit enters somebody on different levels. A brother may be prideful. A brother may hear you say, yeah, I hear you, and still go do whatever they're doing, or still stay in their same mindset. A sister may do the same thing. Sister may be counseling the sister, and she, okay, sis. Yeah, I don't know what this is talking about. And still go do what she do. Low, right? There's different levels, right? And then you have something that I also want to highlight, which I'll just save that for later. But then you have things like this. So you'll have spirits when they enter somebody, they are so influential and so powerful that they're bugging out. And I've seen so many, there's times where I had to parry, there's times where I had to slip, grab the person like this out of instinct, slam them on the floor. You know what I'm saying? There's times where I had to just do a bunch of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's times where people bigger than me, you know, I had nobody around, but I ain't a sucker. So I had to handle that. But when you're doing that and there's nobody around, all bets are off. You know, I'm going home safe, clean, no injuries. I'm going, that's how I came to work like that. That's how I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, best believe I slipped in a few elbows, knees, all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was by myself. And I remember it too. I remember this dude, he was a young kid full of testosterone, yo. Jake, he was 250 pounds. But when I say 250 pounds, this is a 250 pound. First of all, he's 19. He was 19. Second of all, he had no gut. I need you to understand. So y'all know how when you go up in weight, people say, "Oh, they got a gut." This brother was solid, and though, so he's stronger than me. I'm just gonna tell you all rip that he was stronger than me, but he had the autistic. Yo, I don't know if y'all ever dealt with autistic strength. Their strength is, their strength is like 4 men, but the Lord powered me up that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I did what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I broke him down. You know what I'm saying? I held him down until the other people got there. But my point in saying that is, you know, there's different levels when it comes to when you're overpossessed. Because I was cool with that brother. He was a Jake. You know, I was cool. He would always come to me, ask me advice and stuff like that. But there's times when he would switch just like that. So when it's talking about say that word again.
And the meaning is that his madness is about to show itself in a violent paroxysm.
So when you get overtaken by a spirit like that, which I've seen plenty of times, you're acting outside of yourself. Right? When it tells you that that spirit, their spirits be whipping people out. You know, that the spirits was often cause that person often to go in the water or in the fire. You know what I'm saying? When they're trying to harm themselves, when spirits even try to harm other people who was trying to take care of them, right? They're acting outside of themselves. Because remember, what does the demon ultimately want to do to you? They want to off you. Right? But what happens? Go ahead. They're explaining to you the process of what happens. So you have this violent, manic, schizophrenia, a multiple personality disorder. The list goes on and on and on. Right? Go ahead. Asphyxia.
When a demon is said to speak, it is only the unhappy victim of the disease himself that speaks.
Right. So when the demon is speaking, and sometimes this happens with brothers, you can tell that. I remember the other day I was talking to a brother, and all of a sudden the phone call just switched, and the demon was talking to me. You know, but I called it out, and me and that brother was able to build. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to persuade that brother through the spirit of the YHWH, and we ended up having a good conversation. You have to be able to discern whether who's talking to you or not. Right? And most of the time, it's the spirit or that evil spirit that's communicating through that person. Right? Go ahead.
And when a demon or devil is expelled, the exact truth of the case.
So, right, this is another disclaimer. Hopefully, is this clear to everybody? Because I'm trying to show y'all we do not deal with Hollywood exorcism or demons, and we do not deal with the spookism of the Christian church. I'm explaining to y'all, I'm breaking down what evil spirits are on different levels. And if I'm going too fast, just tell me. All right. Go ahead.
And when a demon or devil is expelled, the exact truth of
Hold
the
on.
case.
Akaz got a question. What's your question, Akaz? What's your question, Akaz?
You see it up?
Yeah. It's at Matthew 8:29, right? Yeah, it says, and behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee? Come to torment us before our time. Are you talking about how he casted the legion into the swine? Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about in the future, the demons will be destroyed. Yeah, we're not going to suffer from epilepsy and things of that. And yeah, I can see your question. You said, is that the reason in Matthew 8:29 these demons will be destroyed? Yeah, because I'm really gonna touch on that. I'm gonna touch on that. Hopefully, I do answer your question, but I'm gonna touch on that because that's actually the last. Like, I'm segueing into that part. So I'm gonna answer your question. But just briefly before, I could say this. Right, hold on. What did YHWH say? Yes. So that's what I was going to say, YHWH. So you have to think about it, right? The kingdom, the Lord wants an expected end for us, right? So the things that we're dealing with now is the things that we're not going to be dealing with, Lord willing, we all make it to the kingdom. Those spirits we're not going to be dealing with anymore. We're going to be healed from all of those spirits. And we're going to be in the true essence of our light, in the true essence in our position and what we're supposed to be on the earth. Khan? So hopefully for now that makes sense, Akaz, and then I'm going to double back and answer that. Will the heathen suffer from those demons? Khan, they will.
They are.
Yeah, they are and they will. Right? So let's get that.
When a demon or devil is expelled, the exact truth of the case, as well as the whole of the miracle, is nothing more than that the disease is cured.
Right. So, as people looking at you, you bugging out, wilding, violent, being violent, and then when the spirit gets expelled or cast out of you, you come back to your senses. Remember, I was saying that in the beginning. You come back to your senses. On that level, after you received counsel, after a brother or sister's been contending with you, right? Because you're in your own way, you're prideful, you're not coming out of that until you get persuaded, right? Or until, if you're dealing with that or that level, right, you're dealing with the neurological disorders, they come out of you. What ends up happening? You come to your senses, and people looking at you like, you all right? You good? You straight? But you are, because especially back then in ancient times, YHWH just casted out that spirit. Right? So, but I'm gonna show y'all something, and I'm continuing that.
It says occasionally too, say those who contend against the reality of demonical possessions, the language of the sacred books confirm the explanation which has just been given.
They're highlighted. It
says the madness.
The what?
Madness shows itself in these cases, just as it shows itself in the cases which occur among ourselves in the present day.
In the present day. So, what are some spirits of madness today?
Bipolar disorder is one.
Bipolar disorder. But let's not think about, let's kind of wean away from neurological disorders for a second.
Depression.
Same. I'll give y'all one.
Pride.
Huh?
Pride.
Okay, that's fine.
Eating disorders.
Y'all on disorders because I brought up disorders. So I'll help y'all out, right? So children killing each other now with guns.
Right.
That's the spirit of madness on a lower level. So what are some other?
Themselves?
Huh?
Talking to themselves?
That's still kind of neurological.
I think a big one nowadays is domestic violence.
Domestic violence, yes, yes. You know, that could be either or, but
where like
drill rap, yep.
Parents will like fight each other, and the dad will just off the whole family, or vice versa. The woman will off the whole family.
Yep. The spirit of what? Concupiscence,
Yep.
right? Lust, right? Fornication, right? And so let me show y'all something though. Let's get I'm jumping the gun, but let's get real fast. We're gonna go back to it. Deuteronomy 28 and 28. And hold that right there. Let me show y'all something. Did y'all know that this was actually part of the curses? That the Lord actually cursed us with being lunatics, madness, epilepsy, neurological disorders.
22 talks about inflammation.
Right. So read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness.
With what?
With madness.
With what?
With madness.
That's all you need. That's it. That's all you need. Now, what's madness? Read this from the beginning.
Says the madness shows itself in these cases.
The madness shows itself in these cases. Go ahead.
Just as it shows itself in the cases which occur among ourselves in the present day.
I'll play out. Google the definition of lunatic. In the Webster, Salakia. The definition and adjective in the Webster. See that? Someone severely disordered. See, someone affected with a severely disordered state of mind. Get the adjectives though. Lunatic adjectives. Let's go. Oddly foolish. To the go down. Let me see. Go down. Providing care, mentally ill. Maniacal, manic, mad. There you go. See that? Madness. Mad. Right? So that lets you know that lunatic was part of our curse of being mad. Yes, everybody see that? Maniac. We just got manic, maniac, manic, mad. Are y'all seeing that? Maniacal, insane, psychotic. Is everybody following?
Unhinged.
Unhinged. That's crazy. Yeah, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. And the Lord cursed us with that because of our disobedience. He blessed us. He cursed us with neurological disorders, which are what? Evil spirits. Y'all got to understand that. That's heavy. Is everybody understanding? Is everybody following? You know, hysteria that Maya brought out last time that sisters deal with. Bipolar is not really, it's not a funny thing because bipolar is a real neurological disorder. Like that's nothing to play with. That's nothing to take lightly. Are people incarceration rates the highest in asylums too? Yeah, some. Yeah, because a lot of people from incarceration definitely swung through the mental health hospital. Yes, Crips, yup, Bloods, all of that. Yo, that's the spirit of madness on a low level. And even on the lower level, do you know what also is a spirit? Sagging your damn pants.
Definitely.
Sagging your damn pants. Wearing leggings to the point where they can see the imprint of your vagina. What type of attention-seeking spirit is that?
Even worse, they boast about it, not see the evilness of it.
Right. You see the aligning of your butt crack and your crotch. Overconsumption, yes.
I seen a video of this is how they were at a gas station, and then a song came on. I don't know, these girls are thinking like triggered like a spirit, and they started like twerking.
See that? Yeah, that is a spirit. They couldn't help the music. You know, the music has frequencies in it, right? And as soon as they started hearing it, they started twerking. And it's crazy because what does Titus tell you? That a woman should be what? Discreet. She shouldn't be showing you herself like that. She should not be doing that, because just in case y'all didn't know, you know, Titus is heavy because those are the instructions, right? And the principles to build a successful woman, right? Or lady, I should say, because there's a difference between a woman and a lady, right? Those are instructions. It tells you how the aged woman, right? How's she gonna leave a legacy? By talking to the younger woman. But she's not gonna beat down the principles on her. She's gonna show her how to delight in keeping the home clean. She's gonna show her how to delight in being chaste. She's gonna show her how to delight in loving her husband. She's gonna show her these things, right? These principles, these high, heavenly, spiritual principles that build what? Integrity and dignity. You know what I'm saying? So when they're getting triggered by that spirit and they just out there just twerking, showing all their goods, first of all, you know, a weak man today will be like, yo, look at that. But what I say earlier, we're coming back into our way. We're coming back into our culture. We're coming back into our heritage. So a more spiritual, mature man will be like, oh, one of two things. That's disgusting, or like our sisters are lost. Because disgusting is more judgmental, right? More shaming. But our sisters are lost and sick. You know what I'm saying? It lets you know that we still got a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for bringing that out, Manasha, because yeah, triggers. Why are you getting triggered by a song to have you shake your behind?
Yeah, like in the middle of,
you know what I'm saying?
Just pumping gas,
yeah, in a gas station. Kids walking by, people coming out the store, getting coffees and stuff like that. What are you doing? Right? So yeah, that's examples of low spirits. And then women dyeing their hair yellow, blonde, dyeing their hair red, green. Those are low level spirits, man. Right? These spirits have different levels. Right? Finish that off.
It is now melancholy, and the patient is silent and sullen, and now it vents itself in bursts of anger and ferocious resentment. And the epilepsy of the sacred books is the epilepsy of all of our systems of nosology. The phenomena of the diseases are precisely the same, nor does this detract from the very high character which Christ undoubtedly sustains in the inspired writings, or diminish the value of his miracles as the evidences of our religion, since it must be allowed that to cure disease with a word or a touch is an effort of power far beyond the reach of any human being.
Right. And so that highlights how the power in which YHWH was actually operating in. For him to be able to cast out these high level evil spirits, and for them to be trembling, Lord, are you coming to torment us before our time? You are the Holy One. Hey, yo, be quiet. Get out of that person. That's what YHWH was dealing with back in these times, these ancient times. You know, I wanted to break that down for y'all so y'all understand that when y'all see these neurological disorders, right? To know that it's not out of your realm. You know, those are evil spirits, in fact. And I just proved it to you in the scriptures that in Deuteronomy 28, because of our disobedience, the Lord cursed us with madness. I broke down for everybody how lunatic, just one of the disorders, how lunatic is a mental health disorder that also is manic or maniac, maniacal, and mad. Link. Boom. Scriptures.
Yo.
Madness. The Lord cursed us with madness, with lunatic, with being manics, with epilepsy, with bipolar disorders because of our disobedience, right? So I just want you guys to understand that. Now, when we see these things, do we judge them? Do we fret from them? No, we don't judge them or get scared of them. Why? Get that scripture where the Lord tells you to go to the house of the sick.
Yo, just real quick, I remember that in Chicago, there was a game when I was a young kid. There was a game called Maniac Latin Disciples, MLDs.
That's crazy.
I remember. Yeah,
who wants to be a maniac? That's crazy, right? That's how low we've gotten. That's how low we've gotten, right? And here's the other meat of the matter, right? I want you guys to understand something.
It's a house of the sick. Matthew 8:14.
Nah, that's in Isaiah or somewhere around there. Better it is to go to the house of
Ecclesiastes 7, I believe.
Yeah. If it says better it is to go to the house of, yeah, that's it.
House of mourning. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of the countenance the heart is made better.
So it's better to go to the house of the mourning, right, than the house of laughter. So this is the thing. You can precept that with the house of the sick as well, because that's where our people are mourning at. You have a lot of people on Norlaw. I don't know if you've ever been to a mental health facility or witnessed people on mental health, but what's overtaking them is at the time bigger than them. They're not allowed to be themselves, right? That's on a high level. But one thing a message that I have for everybody is, you're dealing with, I want to get into this. Like, I'm not rushing this lesson. I'm taking my time with this. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that everybody needs to hear this. Like, you deal as a sister, you may be dealing with the spirit of jealousy. Get that after the spirits flees, they come back. You may be dealing with the spirit of jealousy. And every single time your husband steps out or your head steps out, you don't know how to deal with him, talking to other females. And I'm not saying polygyny. I'm just saying, like, casually having a conversation with other women. Like, that's a heavy spirit that you need to deal with. That's a possessive spirit. It tells you when a man gets a wife, he got a what? Possession. You should not be having this insane possessive loving spirit. That's not right. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with brothers and sisters who got molested. You have to understand, when you get molested, especially a man, when you get molested as a man, it messes with your kundalini spirit and your energy. That makes you question. That makes you question or not if you're masculine. When that's been taken away from you, especially if it happened to you young, you start to question, who am I, all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if you're masculine, feminine. You don't know if you start wrestling with when the time that it happened. A lot of people who got molested, I forgot the term, but they deal with, like, they remember when they remember being molested. They could tell you what they was wearing. They could tell you what was on the stove. They could tell you what was in the fridge. They could tell you what smells. That's how deep it is in your brain, embedded in your brain. And then this yields a bunch of things. It yields impulsiveness. When sometimes you snap, you don't know how to deal or regulate with your emotions. You may be violent, you know, you may be feminine. You know what I'm saying? You may not be able to trust people and have trust issues. All these things happen because at a young age, you got molested. And now you're dealing with all these things. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know if you like the feeling or didn't like the feeling. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with all these things. Things happen to you at a premature time when you wasn't even supposed to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So now when you grow up, guess what's growing up with you all them damn years? Spirits that you start to think and accept that's you when it's not you. You gotta wait. It's not you. You're not gonna ever be healed. And then I'm gonna keep going. You have people who, you know, and then that breeds, which I got an article on, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into that too. But then people might be say, oh, I'm bi, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, or you know what I'm saying? All types of stuff that it breeds. And then when you get into relationships, you don't know how to get into relationships properly because why? You don't know how to love yourself. And when you're suffering from abandonment issues, they coincide together. When you suffer from abandonment issues because, you know, your pops wasn't around, or your mom, you wanted love from attention from your mom, but she had to work to provide to pay the bills. And as a child, what a child needs from like the age of 1 to 3 is to be engulfed with love from both parents. That builds their confidence. That builds their and confidence. It builds a lot of things. It adds to your innovation, your intellectual skills, your fine motor skills, your fine social skills. You know what I'm saying? And then that also allows you to take risk. When you have a child and, you know, you're not supposed to kind of quote unquote baby them. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is they get confidence by 2 ways. They get confidence by the love of their parents, and they also get confidence by doing what? Doing things for themselves. So if they're suffering from abandonment issues, now you have attachment problems, men or women, because it happens for both. Men kind of mask it more. Females are more more emotional, so they'll have those bickering problems, and when really we're not understanding each other. All this comes from the house of the sick, and we're dealing with spirits. That's why it tells you the better it is to go to the house of the mourning, of the house of the sorrowful, because that's where we got to get the work done. We're dealing with so many high-level spirits, low-level, middle, in-between spirits. We're dealing with spirits. You could be dealing with issues because you've been angry all your life, and you don't know how to deal with your anger because your pops was verbally abusing you, saying you was dumb all the time. So now when somebody calls you dumb, it triggers you. You might want to fight them. You might want to whoop their ass because your pops said nothing that you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb. So you believe that you're dumb. You have to work all your life to try to build the confidence to think that you're intelligent. And now you mask it because you're dealing with that spirit. And it makes you angry. Being in the streets, that comes with so many. You have to be what's it called? Quick. You have to be quick-witted. You have to not trust and know how to discern certain things. And then what are you doing? You're going around whooping your brothers behind, offing your brothers with knives, guns, whatever the case may be, selling loud packs, selling drugs, mollies, all types of stuff. I could tell you about it, but that's not that's not what we hear doing right now. We're not boasting about that. I actually am ashamed about that. Let's talk about that. Because there's certain spirits that you have to get over. There's spirits that stick with us from our youth. We catch midlife crisis spirits. We're dealing with spirits and stress all the time. So what do we forget? What did they say to YHWH? This is scripture. We're gonna get it. But I'm not finished. because I gotta talk about more issues, yo.
Bring
Right?
it out, bring it out.
You're dealing with so many different things. You have people who grew up with drug addicts, alcoholism in their house, and now they're one of two things. They don't drink at all, or they drink all the time. They run to the bottle because their parents is on the bottle. You know what I'm saying? Well, you have alcoholics. Then you have drug addicts, people who grew up in our body and in our. This is all the things that's happening in Israel. Who have drug addicts for parents, neglected them, stealing their money. You got to think about that. Everybody's dealing with something, but we forget that, yo. You have parents stealing their own child's money. They can't even depend on their parents to get stuff because they're drug addicts. So they went to school on their own. They basically took care of themselves. They got their own job, their own clothes. But then come to find out, they're still living in their own their parents' house. Guess what happens? They've been saving up $500, $300 there, gone. They have to deal with that. Their own parents stealing money from them. Dealing with that. And let me tell you something. If you cannot trust your own parents because of things that they did to you, you cannot trust at all. Do you know what happens? Do you know that's a beautiful thing? You come from the sack of a male into a woman. That woman fashions you in her stomach for 9 to 10 months. You come out. You are a bundle of joy. The whole thing's a beautiful thing. I don't know brothers who have kids or who's about to have kids. When to see that baby come out of that vagina, it brings whole new meaning to life, yo. And then something happens to you, yo. You never had kids and you start having kids. Something happens to you, yo. For some reason, you feel this crazy, it's almost like a demon, but it's in a good way, though. You feel this crazy, insane love for this new being that you created, that y'all created together, and this overwhelming feeling of love for that being. And now you have a responsibility to protect, to educate, to provide for this thing, to make sure that the best of your ability, that it grows up in a God-fearing manner, and that you provide them and they end up being a great citizen, man. But so many things happen along the way, and it's unfortunate, but we deal with spirits from an early age, lustful ass spirits too. The black box. How many of y'all remember the black box? A and B side. The B side had the porno side on it. Yo, as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, do you know what looking at naked women does to you? Naked women. You're not supposed to be looking and seeing these things. It starts to remove your innocence away. And then you're dealing with a perversion for your whole life that you have to get rid of. That's how it is for all these spirits. High, low level, and high. That's how it is for all the spirits. Low level and high. Your perversion starts to get out of hand. You start to see women as objects. You start to challenge yourself to see if you can get better look. Then when you start bagging the dimes, it's a wrap. When your confidence gets to a point where you start bagging what we call bad females, and you're having your way with them, it's a wrap. You're fully submerged and you're fully given over to that spirit. I know, I was living that life. I'm ashamed to say that. Plenty of brothers was living that life. We have to change our speech. We have to change our mindset. We have to change these things that is overtaking our bodies, our minds, our spirits. Y'all not understanding that's what the Lord wants for us. He cursed us with madness in all these situations and illnesses and problems, not because it's impossible for you to overcome it. No, He gave you all the instructions and the tools in order for, and the brothers and the sisters, in order for you to overcome these things. And then guess what? To go help the next person do the same thing. But all of y'all, including me at one point, but I said, hell no. Including me at one point, was thinking that these shits are bigger than me, are bigger than you. You keep falling to the same thing all the time. It's time for y'all to pray for discernment. It's time for y'all to start fasting. We're going to read the scripture, but when the Pharisees came to YHWH and said, yo, John disciples and we fast all the time. Why aren't your disciples fasting? That was a dumb question to be real. Because if they knew who they was asking the question to, they would never even ask the question in the first damn place. He says, I'm here. I'm here. Why do they got to fast? I'm here. But when I leave, they're going to fast often. Let me tell y'all something. When this is the instruction, I'm giving y'all the blueprint. When you have issues that you've been dealing with since youth, first of all, seek counsel. Seek counsel. You got to stop being in a place where y'all afraid to open up. Seek counsel. Right? Because we're at a point where we got to help ourselves and help each other. And Esau is not going to hold back. He's actually going full throttle. Right? So you have when you're suffering, when you've been suffering with all these things, even prisons. You know, I haven't been to prison before, but there's a spirit that comes over a man who's been locked up for 10 years, 17 years. You guys gotta have discernment. You gotta be able to know how to sniff out BS, but you also gotta have a compassionate heart. A wise man once told me, compassion yields wisdom. That's heavy. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. That's heavy as hell to me. Compassion yields wisdom. When you're considerate and when you're compassionate, it makes you more wiser. Some of us are not compassionate enough about one another's situations and things of that going on. But you got to balance that out with what? A quickening spirit. Don't get it twisted. You're not going to keep using it. Oh, yeah, I'm done. No, you're BSing right now. Don't force it. Right? But the point that I'm trying to drive home is you got to think about it. A person who's been in jail, in prison for 8, 10 years, you've been free all your life. Freedom's been taken away from them. Let's explore this, right? Let's explore this. They got to get woken up. Somebody got to tell them when to eat, when to take a crap, when to have a free time. All these things are taken away. They can't have, they might have had a loyal and faithful rib, may or may not be holding them down in prison, right? But they can't feel the warmth of a woman. Do you know how that feels? Brothers be going crazy when their woman's on periods for 7 days. Imagine for 8 years you don't feel that. 10 years, 20 years. Imagine the things that person is going through. Imagine. They're dealing with deep, heavy thoughts of depression, isolation. Nobody's writing them, so they gotta muster up strength on their own to survive that. It's not a light thing, right? Then you're dealing with females who right? So this is the thing. Your thoughts, the subject of your thoughts create your reality, and your reality is the subject of your thoughts. Right? So what does that mean? If a woman who's bad, because a lot of females, they have a shell. So if we're dealing with a sister who's fine as hell, but her whole life she's been told by her uncle, her mother, her father that she wasn't pretty. As fine as she may be, you know, and she might be faking it till she makes it, but deep down inside, she has a doubting spirit and she struggles with that. So what are you going to see more of? Attention-seeking behavior that may cause her to be a prostitute or a hoe, right? That you got to understand, like, our people deal with so many things. That's why the Lord is telling you to go to the house of the sick. You're not supposed to be giving up on your marriages. The marriages are supposed to be something that is sacred. You're supposed, it says, better as is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. Why? Because through all the ups and downs, and Lord knows, there's some wars in marriage. There's some wars in marriage, yo. Some of us suffer out loud, and some of us suffer silently. But there's some wars and there's some battles. Sometimes the man is being stubborn as hell. It's not always the woman. Now, that's the one thing I want to say too for brothers. It's not always the woman. Nigga, you got to look at yourself too. Don't you know that whenever there's a chief of anything, the Lord, what does he do? He blames the first blame, not on the subjects, on the who? On the chief. When countries go out of whack, right, or disordered, who does the Most High blame? The governors, the leaders. So why is it any different in your marriage? It's you, nigga. You got to get off your high horse and your ego. Yes, it is the women sometimes. But yo, the incredible things happen when you humble yourself and you start asking yourself, what can I do to make my marriage better? What can I do to my rib get to a better place? You know what I'm saying? Whatever you call your rib, you know, hun or whatever. You know, how can I help you? You know, well, you can help me, you know what I'm saying? I know you're tired. She might say that. You know, next thing you know, now you're having an ill conversation. Now the spirit done went away. Y'all having fights, boom, 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 boom. And then because you meditated and you thought, now she's not even mad at you no more. 5 years has been going on, and you hitting her with a question like, what can I do to, you know, make our marriage better? Or what can I do to help you out to make things easier for you? And she might be looking at you like, who is this man? These are the things that we got to be doing. You got to understand we're dealing with so much. We're dealing with so much. And what did YHWH say? We're dealing with stress and we're dealing with spirits, high and low. And we come together with these things. And then it's funny because, again, I'm gonna go circle it back to what Kawan was saying. Now, this would even bring more light to, you know, courting.
That's why you gotta be careful. You
gotta be careful. That scripture goes out the window when you think about everything we just talked about. But that's if you're a matured spirit. If you're not a matured spirit, do what you gotta do. It's almost like how YHWH, he gave the truth of the matter. Technically, Moses made an amendment to the law. What does that mean? He added that to the law, divorce. Because what did YHWH say about divorce? It wasn't so in the beginning. It was not so in the beginning. You got people ready to call it quits. You have not done everything that you can do to ensure your successful marriage. How do you know? Because you're looking at it from your lens. Watch this. I bet you, pray and ask the Most High to see your marriage through his eyes. And I guarantee you'll come up with a different answer. I'll give you $100 if it's the same answer from my personal pocket. Pray and ask for you to see your marriage through the Most High's eyes, and I guarantee you'll be different. 100%. 100%. You have to understand, so many people are dealing with so many different things. We're dealing with all types of evil spirits. We're dealing with, and on top of that, what's that called? Defense mechanisms that result in the spirits that we're dealing with from a young age to all types of things. But that's why we have to fast. He gave you the remedy in the blueprint. It's to seek counsel. You have to seek counsel, because why? You're dealing with men of higher spirit. Like I remember an elder said to me, somebody I still didn't forget too. An elder said to me, he was like, when you're dealing with matters, you know what I'm saying, that you're troubling with, your ego, because you're a man, your ego is going to set in place. But you have to go to men that's of higher spiritual rank than you to seek counsel, to help you iron out or filter through or sort through or advise you or admonish you or rebuke you or see if you're tripping or not. And then you have to fast. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. I'm not talking about Daniel fasting. I'm talking about doing a deep fast. 3 days, water. And because you can't survive off this in this economy on just water, put some Celtic salt in there. Celtic salt has potassium, it has magnesium, it has zinc in it, it has other minerals. Those minerals will allow your body to be able to have enough strength to be able to move throughout the day, even if you do physical labor. 3 days. And depending on how deep and heavy the spirit is, you do more, you increase it. Now, you do not do weekly fasts. You're going to take the essence of the fast away. You're going to, because another thing too is what you learn from the fast, you want to apply it to your life. So you fast, you do a deep fast, and then what you learn and the things that you've revealed in the fast, you apply it to your life. And then guess what? Guess what's going to happen? You got that scripture?
I brought out House of the morning earlier.
Yeah. No, not that one. The one that I told you to get with the 7 spirits. This is going to happen. This is going to happen.
This is Luke chapter 11 and verse 26. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
Go up more when you get rid of it.
Verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man.
So when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man. So you've been dealing with abandonment issues. You've been dealing with all these issues because you need to understand how to get these spirits off. The Lord said what? Some do not come out but by what? Prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting is how these spirits will come out of you. You think YHWH is a liar? No. These are instructions in the blueprint in order for you to overcome things. No matter what it is. Counsel and prayer and fasting. But guess what happens? You get rid of the unclean spirit, the spirit that you 40 years old, 44 years old, 50 years old, spirit that been attaching itself to you since you was 3-4 years old. You feeling good now. You in the spirit. You in the spirit. It's out of you now, right? Go ahead.
He walketh through dry places.
You swept him. You cleansed your temple. You don't know where to go now. You don't know where to go. Right now, you won the battle because you haven't won the war yet. I'm teaching you how to win the war. You won the battle. You got it out of you. You're not thinking perverse no more. That spirit that pornography spirit that made you perverse and you've been bagging and fornicating and all this, you got it out now. You're not thinking about when you look at a sister, you looking at her from the neck up. You actually concerned about your sisters. You're building with sisters instead of in your mind the first thing think about you sexualizing them. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening on this fast, right? You're unclean or jealousy. You're not jealous. Your spirit, your flesh is too weak to feel jealousy as a woman. You know that your man, you start thinking logical now. You start thinking rationally now. My man comes home every night. He providing. He comes home. He kisses me. You know what I'm saying? He makes sure the kids and the household's in order. I'll be tripping sometimes. I got this man. I'll be bugging out. He may or may not have a history, but I'm here with him. I'm his rib. He chose me, and we riding this out for the long haul. You start, your flesh is weak. You're not thinking about being jealous no more. You're not thinking about having an abandonment issue. You smacking this demon right now. The unclean spirit left. Right? Go ahead.
And finding none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out.
He says he made an oath. He says, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to return back to my host. Think you could get rid of me? You think you could get rid of me? I've been with you. We homies. I've been with you. Then guess what happens? When you're in your strength and you're in your spirit, when you break the fast, let's say 2 days later, let's be nice. Let's say 2-3 days later, thought starts creeping back in. But you still on a spiritual high though. So what are you doing? You have the muscles, the spiritual muscles to beat it up. Right? You have the spiritual muscles to whoop on those thoughts that you're having. But what happens when a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks start to go by? A month, 2 months, right? So you just went on the deep fast. 3, 4, 5 days. If you have to, 7 days, water, right? And if you need to just take it up a notch because you need just a little bit more minerals, if you guys got juicers at home, juice. That's it. Juicing and water. If you need to take it up a notch, right? Because it's still liquid. You're not putting food in your body. And if you don't have a juicer, you go to Whole Foods. Whole Foods sell fresh juices, especially if you catch.
Believe in God. Yo, why the fuck y'all get so damn religious-fied lately?
Man, look, do I believe in God? Yeah, I guess I do. How else can you have the sun, the moon, and the stars and shit like that?
Sun, moon, stars, quasars, motherfuckers sound like they're wood checks. Ain't no God.
When will it stop? Okay. Another dead Jake from a cop. Another fiend came through the cop. Another deadlock. Another 8-ball in the sock. Another crime scene on Fox. How did this begin? I was so right just to sin. Hear all my thoughts through the pen. The sorrows of men. When you can't go see your kid. Got no food in the fridge. Is this what life is? Blowing out your pain through a cig. Behind all the bills in the crib. Searching for a light. But it's so dark at night. Walk through the blocks with a knife, roaches and mice, locked up, never get a kite. Come to serve the Lord, better fight. Battle in your mind, hunger paid equate to a crime. Looking all around for a sign, living in the time where you can't even trust your mom. Rumors of wars, drop bombs, needles, white lines. Christ be the only lifeline. Everything is all by the sign, leave it all behind. If I shine, nigga, you shine. If I shine, nigga, you shine.
If I shine, nigga, you shine. If I shine, nigga, you shine. Deeply rooted, bearing fruits of the spirit. Lift my voice, hoping you gon' hear it. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise.
And I can't question your mercy. That's above the wonders of the sky. And I know through what I've seen, without a doubt you are alive.
They say be careful of the angels you entertain unaware. Words out the book of life seem like the thunder here. Thankful for the time now, just to see another year. It's a different type of feeling when you see your brother cheer. Cause we been through the madness, we done seen each other's tears, Lord knows. Through the furnace of adversities, my enemies conspiring and dreaming of them hurting me. Enemies conspiring and dreaming of them hurting me. This is not the battle of flesh and blood. No one's seen the judgment. He ain't step up out the ark to check the flood. Sworn under an oath in the Most High's covenant. Live by the creed. All these prophets been my brothers since. Still I rise as the world is scorched. As they torture my ancestors made of me poor. The last days on its way, so we gon' overcome. Only Christ could determine when a soldier's done, yeah.
Deeply rooted, bearing fruits of the spirit. Lift my voice, hoping you gon' hear it. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise.
And I can't question your mercy. That's above the wonders of the sky. And I know through what I've seen, without a doubt you are alive.
Yeah. Trying hard not to complicate these verses. Soul searching, know these demons out here lurking. Where's your purpose? Cut the grass, see the serpents. Feel the curses, know the devil out here working. Close the curtains, one thing is for certain. We all die one day, but does your soul live? And will he forgive? Only Lord knows this. Tell these clowns settle down, we around. Paint the town red for my ancestors' blood. From the bloodline of Judah, cause my ancestors was. Me and the general, souls identical. Gold flow spiritual, oh so lyrical. Really not your typical Joseph in the physical, Gabar from KC. Indians and Chiefs, ride for my people, we the sons of Maccabees. Open up Pandora's box and had to take a peek. No faith without works, you gon' have to take the leap. We the lost sheep from Jerusalem, we weak. Got bros still asleep. I pray for the weak and build with the strong. Just talk to my cuz, he got a lot going on. I told him keep his head up, he just going through a storm. Our family's been torn apart by the drugs. Heart full of slugs, left its mark in the mud. I wish the love, surrounded by the hate. Made it this far by faith, mercy, and grace. Yeah. Made it this far by faith, mercy, and grace.
Deeply rooted, bearing fruits of the spirit. Lift my voice, hoping you gon' hear it. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. I'm in the spirit, you can't kill my vibes. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise. And if I fall, still I rise.
And I can't question your mercy. That's above the wonders of the sky. And I know through what I've seen, without a doubt you are alive.
Understand that your biggest battle is you. It's you.
Gotta trust the purpose, he got plans for you. Pray to the Lord, and he'll guide to do. Forgive us for our sins, have mercy on our souls. Fearing your judgment that keep me on my toes. Let God be true, and every man a liar. Cast your burdens on him and watch your weight get lighter. You gotta weather through them storms, but them clouds don't stay. So give me some clarity and show me your way. And put a hedge around my home and protect my gate. Yesterday I seen a man forgive a man for killing his son. It showed me hope, but the war ain't won. As long as you try, he extend his love. Every soldier got a story to tell. Constantly watching on these signs for tell. I found hope living cross from hell. And it's a war outside, no one is safe. Cause we the lost sheep, led astray. Just pace yourself when you fall in this race. Adversity is just a test of your faith. Embracing your love, I can't wait no more. Seek him now before he close that door. Conquer self when I end a war. Conquer self when I end a war. Gotta conquer self when I end a war. It's time to conquer. It's time to conquer. It's time to overcome. Fight temptation. Fight this world. Gotta trust the purpose, he got plans for you. I pray to the Lord, and he'll guide you through. Forgive us for our sins, have mercy on our souls. Fearing your judgment that keep me on my toes. Let God be true, and every man a liar. Cast your burdens on him and watch your weight get lighter. You gotta weather through them storms, but them clouds don't stay. But give me some clarity and show me your way. And put a hedge around my home and protect my gate. Yesterday I seen a man forgive a man for killing his son. It showed me hope, but the war ain't won. As long as you try, he extend his love.
You ever fight for your life while you sitting in the court, putting niggas on the pavement, play the turf like it's a sport. Real eyes see the light in the midst of the darkest tribulations. Back the soul and make a young nigga heartless, set us war. Took an L to the devil, but I'm even in the score. Can't afford to keep my bed or keep no company with whores. Game time, I don't wanna see my name shine. You can readjust your views, don't try to change mine. I'm still here when my best friends became my enemies, and my brother in the faith became kin to me. We know that paradise and hell really a condition while we melt in the flame refined. We on the mission, high exalted. You know we've been trained for the war. We can't double back with us once you go and hit the door. Pain, Lord knows we don't play here. If you don't got love for brothers, then niggas stay there.
My name, try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga out for real, but I can't. My feelings now, gotta stay in my lane. Try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga's proud for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now.
They gon' laugh at you while they strike and shake your hand. The Father gave us pain cause he knows it make a man. We got next, you heard me, I said we got next. We never boast in ourselves, but in the Father we flex. I said you could choose to die or you could choose to live. Stand tall, even if that means that you could lose a rib. We leave it all on the altar while we pray and face the east. Cause a man that hold the word and persevere, that's a priest. Fuck the feet. If they can't hearken, then dust your feet. The earth will be given into the hand of the meek, to the evil beast. No, we won't never ever bow down. The workman rightly dividing, can't put the plow down. We suffer now, God willing we the elect. In a world where somehow good men fall under rejects. Don't take a lot of shit to heart cause we carry precepts. Don't take a lot of shit to heart cause we carry precepts.
Gotta stay in my lane, try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga out for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now, try to stay in my lane. Try to stand and figure it out, but can't ignore my pain. Help a nigga out, but understand that rain. A nigga's proud for real, but I can't get it. My feelings now.
Father told me one day I'll find peace in every way, but in search for a clue, wrong things I was bound to do. For the clouds tell me why, as I go with strength, Father kept me as I repent. Give me the will to be free, purpose to live is reality. Find myself never alone, changes to come to make me strong.
Gotta spread that word when them killers swerve. Embrace the pain in the midst of hurt. Broad is the way we took the narrow road. Took it on the chin, you can't knock me out. I'll be wrong if I let this shit slide. Yeah, we started from the bottom, Jacob's ladder we climbed. God's chosen, His precious design. Renew your mind and get better with time. My past filthy, no disinfect, casting down lies. The world out of course, and we got next. I'm bearing fruit till you see progress. Getting wing from the milk, just trust the process and seek Him early, and you will find Him. Battle within, searching for inner peace. Yeah. Truth will set you free. Yeah. I was blind, but now I see. Yeah. Got my steps in the life I lead. Battle within, searching for inner peace. Yeah. Truth will set you free. Yeah. I was blind, but now I see. Yeah. Got my steps in the life I lead. We come from broken homes, no food or no cable. Time to prosper, Lord provides, and He making it able. Most die in these jungle, trying not to stumble. Move on the humble, you see the light in the darkest tunnel. Hungry for the word, like my ribs be touching. You can see Him now, but who is you trusting? Turn nothing to something. Faith is the substance, like a shot clock above the game, we rising above it. Engraved in the palm of His hands, 10 toes I stand. Salt of the world, they season this blend. You my peace, you my pillar of rest. And being oppressed, eyes on to the stress. Just look around, just know that you blessed. It's battle within, searching for inner peace. Yeah. Truth will set you free. Yeah. I was blind, but now I see. Yeah. Got my steps in the life I lead. Battle within, searching for inner peace. Yeah. Truth will set you free. Yeah. I was blind, but now I see. Yeah. Got my steps in the life I lead.
Right? So here you have it. We jumping right back in. We jump up. Everybody online, put a con. Put a con.
Good now.
Everybody in. All right. So you have it, right? You're dealing with so many different things. And before I even get back on that, right? Before I even get back on that, we have to, we don't want to start being spooky, right? We don't want to say that's a spirit, or I'm dealing with, you know what I'm saying? That's because, you know, certain camps be like, when they see certain things, they be like, they see rum this week, that's a gym spirit, man. That's a gym demon. Like, nah, I'm not going over for that. I'm going over that for many different things, right? So we could be aware of certain things, so we could be educated, but so that way we can really understand one another. You can understand sister to sister and be able to have that transparency and camaraderie with one another to be able to really build a friendship. And the same thing for brothers. You know what I'm saying? And then also when you guys go out, when you guys are dealing with people that are your people, you can look at them with a different lens. I remember, I think it was the general who put it in the group chat back when my phone was working. There was an instructor, a licensed to carry instructor. He pulled out at a gas station, and basically him and a woman had got into an altercation. She went from 0 to 100 real quick, and he was calm and he dealt with her. Like, you could see the spirit on this lady. Like, she was angry, cussing. She was about to run his car over. He kept his composure and he was stoic in the matter. And he really just dealt with her articulately and compassionately. You know what I'm saying? Because he understood what she was going through. Because this was a Jake with Jake. It wasn't Edomite. It was Jake with Jake. He was a LTC instructor. He helps people get their license to carry firearms. You know what I'm saying? And this was a clip that he had put. You know, it's no different when we're out there. You got to realize sometimes, brothers in this camp, you know what I'm saying, including myself at times, I'm not going to just point the finger because I could too. Well, we have a tendency to be assholes. Like, that's not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand, especially the higher you go in this, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord he chose you to go and feed the sheep, to go and get the weak of your people, to build you up so you can go get the weak. Well, how are you going to do that if you can't identify certain things, if you're not aware of certain things? This is why we're going over this, right? So first, be aware of the things that are in you and help yourself first, right? It was on a podcast, LL Cool J. They tried to trip LL Cool J up and said, if you guys are dying, if you're dying on if a plane's going down that you're on, and there's a face mask comes out, you know, are you going to help the person to your left or to your right? Or are you going to help yourself first? He says, I'm going to help myself first. How am I going to help you out if I don't help myself out? Exactly. That's hypocritical, right? It tells you about that in Sirach. There's a prophet who's profitable to everybody else, but unprofitable to himself. You got to be profitable to yourself. In fact, if you're profitable to yourself, it's going to show you how to be 10, 100 times more effective and efficient when you're profitable to other people, right? So you got to identify and be aware of what's actually, you got to have a real heart-to-heart with yourself. You have to really soul search, because sometimes people save face. You don't have to save face for me, man. You don't have to do that. You could come talk to Shamak about whatever. It don't matter. It does not matter. We're going to help you deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And if I need to show you, you know what I'm saying, to convince you otherwise, you bugging, I'm going to convince you, show you that you bugging. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? But you should want that from me, because if I would want the same thing from you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to identify these things in yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we want to have compassion. We want to be able to have awareness and discernment, right? So going back, you're dealing with all these spirits, right? Your favorite spirit, the spirit that you grew up with, who attach more spirits to you. You know, you did your thing. You did your first fast. Let's say it's your first fast. You won the battle. This is a big war you got to face. This war comes from when you open your eyes and you bless that you have eyes to see and ears to hear, and you wake up to the truth, all the way till YHWH come. We're not there yet. Not there. Now, if you know you have a strong demon or a strong spirit on you, you have to identify that first. Stop running away from it. Stop trying to shave face when you're around people. Be honest with yourself. Know what you're dealing with. And then you seek counsel, and then you fast. What ends up happening, it says an unclean spirit leaves. So you're winning, right? But then he makes an oath. He says, I'm going to return back to where I came from. Read.
Luke chapter 11 and verse 26. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits.
He said, hold on. He found out the blueprint on how to kick my behind. He found it out. I'm going to be gone. If this brother or sister fasts a few more times, I'm probably going to bounce for good. I'm not going to be able to deal with this person anymore. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get the big homies, the OGs of the spirits. I'm going to bring all my homies. And you know what's funny? A lot of people say 7 spirits return. No, it says, I'm going to get 7 more spirits. That means when they return to you, how many spirits is in you? 8, not 7. 8 spirits is in you now. So what do you have to keep doing? You have to keep fasting. And that's why YHWH said, they will fast when I'm gone often. They will fast when I'm gone often. Now, often does not mean weekly. I just broke that down for you guys. Every 2 to 3, depending on how severe what you're dealing with is. And then you can increase it too. That's another thing. Let's say the first month you did, 3 days, and your flesh was weak, and it's the first fast you ever did. You just did water with the Celtic or Celtic salt, always the words tomato. You know what I'm saying? But you put that in the water, you did good. You know what I'm saying? Boom. A couple of months, few months pass. You know what I'm saying? Even 4, whatever. Let's say you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're really doing good. But then in the 3rd or 4th month, it starts the spirits, the thoughts start coming to your head again. You can even increase it, and you could go on another fast. You could either do another 3-day or you could do 5 days this time. You know what I'm saying? That's what fasting often means. Not every day, every week. No, it's not. That's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're losing the essence of what it means to fast and the enlightenment behind it and the sacrifice behind it. It starts to not become a sacrifice anymore if you're doing it every week. You know what I'm saying? Every day. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it has to be sincere. Like, you have to be at a certain place in order to really to fast. Now, for the fast that I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? You could do intermittent fast, you could do Daniel fast, dopamine fast, you could fast from intercourse, you could do different things. But the fast that I'm talking about, the battle of battles that you're gonna have to keep because you have a war that you want to win, you want to do that every so often. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to gauge, how often you should or shouldn't do it. But you'll know too when you get grips on it, when you get grips and a hold of, when you get the upper hand, because a lot of us, all these issues and all these issues that allowed us to yield, or it yielded certain defense mechanisms or impulses or thought patterns that we have now from these things that happen to us, or even the things that we got influenced by. We have to we'll be able to gauge when we actually have our grips on those things, and those things won't have a grip on us the way that they usually or once did. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll start to feel the tides turning. You'll start to feel like, I got a handle of this. It still is an issue. You should not give light to the spirit that maybe you're conquering it for a time, but guess what? It's always gonna say, I want to come back. I want to come back. I'm always, he don't fight fair. He always gonna go get spirits to try to jump you all the time. He always gonna get tried, and it's gonna be spirits that you don't even deal with. You might have just dealt with fornication. That might have really been your thing. Now you're dealing with spirits of anger. You're dealing with spirits of brawling. You're dealing with spirits of alcoholism. You're dealing with spirits of impulsiveness. Yeah. So you have to make sure that at a certain point in time, you are aware that the tides have changed, right? And you have a grip of dealing or conquering that spirit. But no, don't ever turn your back on that spirit, right? Do like David said with sins. My sins are ever before me. Make sure your enemy is before you all the time. Don't ever put him in the back or her in the back, whatever you want to call it, right? Because that's going to help you. You're going to be able to gauge. And so when you start getting a hang of it, they're always going to try to come back. These spirits are going to always try to come back. But what's going to happen is you're going to level up, and you're going to know how to fight it or keep it at bay. That's the next process. That's the next battle, right? So you're fasting. You know what I'm saying? You're doing this every once in a while. You've been battling this demon for years, your spirit for years, and now you have a grips on it. But that, just because you have an upper hand now does not mean that you stop being circumspect. Does not mean that you just take it lightly now. No, it means that you learn how to keep it at bay. Because the minute you stop keeping that bay, full throttle, boom, it's gonna smack you, haymaker. You're gonna get knocked out, and then you're gonna wake up with 8 spirits on you. You gave you the blueprint. Some do not come out but by prayer and fasting and counsel. Read that.
Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself.
They always want to come back. Always, 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 always. They're always going to try to loop, circle around. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Remember, we're on a mission to conquer ourselves and restore the nation of Israel to its rightful place. Right? What did Judas say? He said, it is better to die than to witness the calamity of my people. But it starts with you first. You have to know how to get yourself to a better place and how to rid yourself of certain things. You can't keep thinking that the spirit is bigger than you. Why? It's always going to be bigger than you then. You have to come to a point where you're bigger than it. You have to want to change. You have to want to desire to be bigger and greater. And then supplicate that with counsel, prayer, and fasting. Don't you know that your God will give you the power to overcome what's tormenting you? If you ask. But the thing is, a lot of you don't believe. That's what's happening. A lot of you don't believe. Right? Get that Mark 11 and 22, 23. Ganan.
It says Mark chapter 11 and verse 22. And YHWH answering saith unto them, have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe those things.
That's the thing. The YHWH, this goes over a lot of people's heads, because YHWH is talking about a mindset. He's talking about believing in the Father in the name of the Son, but also believing in yourself. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you want to change your reality, change your thoughts. He's showing you right here. You have to believe that you can overcome that. Instead of you keep saying, dang, and giving into your problems. Go ahead.
Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he said shall come to pass.
And shall believe which those things that you say shall come to pass. Go ahead.
He shall have whatsoever he saith.
Like, you cannot switch that word up anyway. YHWH is saying, what you believe and what you say will be your reality. Do you know how powerful that is? If you believe that you're broke and you work a dead-end job and life is stressful and you're never going to overcome that, don't you know that will be your reality every single day? But if you believe in something different, you know what? I'm going to look up a trade. I'm gonna, look up how to start a side business, or I'm gonna, and that's gonna be very lucrative for me in my rib. Change the atmosphere and the language and the mindset of the household. He's showing you how to pray, but everything starts with your mind. What you believe and what you say will shape your reality. That has to do everything with what we're talking about right now. If you believe that you're an alcoholic, you will always be an alcoholic. If you believe that you're a masturbator, you will always be a masturbator. The minute you start to believe that, you know what, I'm done with this masturbating. This masturbation is not going to get a hold of me. And I'm going to get counsel for this, and I'm going to fast. And every time I feel the urge, I'm going to go on a fast. I'm going to go on a fast. And guess what's going to happen? That is going to subside. Guaranteed. It's your mindset and what you believe. You have to be able to tap into the Father through the Son. Right? Let's get Isaiah 35 and 5.
Isaiah chapter 35 and verse 5. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened,
right,
and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped.
Right, because who's that talking about? That's talking about YHWH and what he was doing. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be what?
And the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped.
Right, and he's talking about healing spirits, diseases, sicknesses, all manner of them. Right? Let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and 29. And Apayat, pull up that article that I sent you.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
Hold on. Pull up that article. Yep. I'll read it. Let's blow it up. Go down. It says, when homosexuality stopped being a mental disorder, which is a what? A neurological disorder, right? Let's go down. Let's go down right there. Yep. In the 1950s and 1960s, many therapists offered aversion therapy of a kind of featured in A Clock Orange to cure male homosexuality. This typically involves showing patients pictures of naked men while giving them electric shocks or drugs to make them vomit. And once they could no longer bear it, showing them pictures of naked women or sending them out on a date with a young nurse. Needless to say, these cruel and degrading methods proved entirely ineffective. First published in 1968, DSM-2, the second edition of American Classified of Mental Disorders, and a forerunner of DSM-5, still listed homosexuality as a mental disorder. So it was taken out of one book and still in one book. In this, the DSM followed in a long tradition of medicine and psychiatry, which in the 19th century appropriated homosexuality from the church and in what must have seemed like an elan of enlightenment, promoted it from sin to mental disorder. Now, something that they do, right, is they play with things. When they play with words, it makes you, what it does to the human psyche is it lessens the load. It lessens what it is. So a lot of people, they started accepting homosexuality because a sin is clear, cut, and dry, right? But when you say, oh, it's a mental disorder, it makes it okay, right? You start to have compassion that females are grinding vaginas together and males, let's not talk about that, right? That's a sick thing. I work with, at my job, work in a warehouse, and you have a man who has got his breast done. He perms his hair. He has lipstick. He wears belly shirts. Like, I'm like, yo, you have to understand the level of like spirit that's on. And then another thing is what homosexuality people love to do more than anything, they don't like to socialize with their kind. They like to try to turn straight people gay. That's what they like to do. They like to play and let them find out that you've been touched before. It's a wrap. Let them find. They're going to amplify that spirit on steroids.
Give them an inch to take a mile.
Right. And they'll say a bunch of things. So you have to really, make sure that you're in the correct awareness, man, and you have the proper, like, we're going over this, but this was a mental health disorder. And we just got mental health disorders are what? Evil spirits. So I'll let you know what was going on back then. You don't think that YHWH was dealing with that back then? Doesn't it tell you that you cannot hold or fathom all the miracles that YHWH was doing contained in the book? There's a lot of things that it shows you that he was dealing with that you don't even know. Read that in Ecclesiastes 7:29.
It says, "Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright."
The Most High had made man upright. There's no determined sex at birth. That's so cringy. Determined sex at birth. What are you talking about? If you have a vagina, you're a girl. If you have testicles and a penis, you are a boy. You're a boy. Is that it on the 7:29?
But they have sought out many inventions.
But they have what?
But they have sought out many inventions.
Right. They're taking hormone inhibitors or blockers. They're changing the natural use of what their bodies are for. Women are getting growing full-grown beards better than mine. You know what I'm saying? Males are cutting off their rods to try to make a hole so that. Oh, come on, man. They're getting breast jobs, butt jobs. A lot of things is going on. But the Lord made man upright. But they're seeking inventions. They're trying to turn something that the Lord said clear, cut, and dry was wrong to do into now it's a mental disorder. If we didn't go over that, you wouldn't know that. Right? Let's get back in that article real fast. Get on Mark 5 for me. Mark 5 and 2.
This is Mark chapter 5 and verse 2. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken to pieces.
Nah, Slakia, we only gotta go. I'm sorry about that. Romans 1 and 26. Slakia.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Right. Because you want to go and search out your inventions, now the Lord's going to give you up to all this madness. That's what it is, madness. And we find out that madness is in the scriptures. You're a lunatic. You're mad. You're confused. You have a spirit on you. A man is supposed to be nothing short of masculine. Austerity means lacking softness. But you see gay men practicing an artificial or what they think is feminism, because feminism is deep. I don't know if y'all know that. Feminism is deep. Men are attracted to feminism. Can anybody tell me what feminine energy is? And by now, if you are in this chat, we be talking about this. You cannot answer. Just saying, cannot answer. Feminine energy is beautiful, but do you know what words? It's when I say it, it's not going to sound beautiful, but I'm going to tell you the beautifulness behind it. Right? Feminine energy is chaotic. It's liberal. It's free. Right? You have the yin and the yang, right? So it's a balance, though. What's masculine energy?
Powerful, strong.
Powerful, strong. What else?
Controlled.
Controlled. Order. So when a man and woman come together, right? Controlled freedom, right? Liberty. It's a balance. The side, you cannot be, your household cannot be too much of one. Or even if it is too much of one, at least that energy is you're allowing it to operate freely within your household, because there's things that we do not think of. There's things that they bring. The feminine touch is always beautiful, it's always peace and loving and comforting and free. Music, nature is feminine. If y'all didn't know that, because it's they say it's liberating, it's free, it's chaotic.
Remember that book we read?
Yeah.
He said,
Superior Men.
Yeah, he said that a woman's femininity is like the ocean.
Right.
You know, you have times where it's calm.
Yeah.
It's still
Yes.
moving.
Yes, sis. Yep. Calm, peaceful, soft, sensitive,
Times when the
calm.
storm comes and it's wavy. Like,
Yeah.
it's destructive.
And that's beautiful. If you're in a household, and this was my household, I'll be transparent with you guys. You know, I'm a very militant and masculine man. I'm pretty sure y'all can see that. You know what I'm saying? In my household, for a time, my household's in order. The Lord blessed me to be able to have my household in order. You know, but at times, there was a time where it was overboard. My household was too militant. And I said to my rib, you know, I said, you know, we got to balance out the household with femininity. You know what I'm saying? We need that calmness, that sweetness, that, you know, that sensitive touch. And we spoke about it, and we, you know, and long story short, you know, that we did just that. We changed the whole atmosphere of the house, and now it's more of a balance. And the kids, our children, you know, they responded to it in such a way as to, you know, they started opening up to us about things that we didn't even know. You know, we started being more aware of their perspectives, their opinions, getting them to be more emotionally intelligent, being aware of how they feel, communicating how they feel and how they express themselves, you know, having family meetings, you know, as well as showing them we're in Proverbs, Sirach, Ecclesiastes, those things. Occasionally, you know, we do the holy days and we'll drop like commandments and, you know, go over a story, but mainly it's the wisdom scriptures, you know what I'm saying? And we will have them like break things down, you know what I'm saying? Okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And that changed our whole dynamic of our household, and they respond to it in such a way that it's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But I want to share with y'all that it started with me. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize like there's something off in my household right now, you know? And I basically was saying, you know, we had a talk, and I was saying, you know, what ways can I help? You know what I'm saying? I've seen ways that I can fit in, even though I be tired coming home from work. There's things that I can do to help my rib out. And because she's better, you know, even more helpful now the kids is better. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. So that feminine energy is a beautiful thing. And sometimes brothers, they suffocate their women. So they don't allow that beautiful feminine energy to, or you don't even allow your woman to discover her true femininity. Because a lot of women don't even know or have discovered their true femininity. Yet alone men have a false sense of masculinity as well. But these are the things that we're coming into, right? Even Titus, it gives you instructions and principles on how to walk in integrity and how to discover that masculinity. But those are lessons for another day, right? So, but you got Romans 1:26 already?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Right. So I was elaborating on that. But let's get Mark 9:23. You know, it's not the Most High's expected end for us to I just brought up that article real fast. We're not going to go back into that, but I just wanted y'all to see that it was a mental health disorder and it was in their DSM. When you're studying to become a social worker, when you study to become a social worker, when you study to become a psychologist, when you study and become a psychiatrist, you have to understand the human mind and the psyche that comes with mental health disorders and things of that nature. And the reason why that was so profound, they took from the scriptures that it was a sin and they put it in as a mental health disorder. And then they took that from being a mental health disorder to now we're removing it completely. So that way we can accept that. Because remember, this is also Rome, right? And they want us to accept the spirits and the overindulgence and all these things that come with Rome. But guess what? That's not us. That's not our culture. In here, they teach you to be a glutton, to overindulge, to be hypersexual, to do so much. But what does our God and our culture teach us? Moderation, balance, discipline, adversity. There's times where there's ups, there's like not. They want you to overstimulate yourself on pleasure. The Lord wants you to appreciate and enjoy pleasure at its peak. So he wants you to live a life of moderation and discipline. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Hold on a second. That's beautiful. If you think about it, right? So we gotta get back and understand, man, who we are. And it starts with, it says some women view femininity as a weakness. Yes, some women do, like how bold they are nowadays. I was talking to my daughter, my oldest daughter, about being bold. You know what I'm saying? She was just talking about, crushes and stuff like that. The elementary school, you start having little crushes and stuff like that. And she was just talking about how girls will tell boys that they like them. And I'm like, when I was growing up, girls never told men, boys, teenagers, adolescents that they like them first. Because they, in some form and way, they was practicing being discreet. You know what I'm saying? The male would have to be bold, right? Tell the female that they're feeling them, and then they'll say, "Oh, okay, I'm feeling you too," boom, and then see where it goes from there. And we just had to talk, and I was just teaching her about women being discreet and how that's a beautiful trait of femininity. You know what I'm saying? Being feminine, and it's crazy too, because a lot of brothers don't understand. They don't understand when to come down from being masculine and being understanding, right? Because a man, when he's honoring the weaker vessel, he has to be the one to go up and come down, go up and come down, go up and come down. But yet again, that's another one for another day. My sis got me talking and derailed me in the spirit, but that's good though. Mark 9:23.
Mark chapter 9 and verse 23. And he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes.
Nah, my fault. Philippians 4:13. You don't need no more of those scriptures. Come on.
Philippians chapter 4 and verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
And that's really the conclusion of the matter. Right? A lot of us feel like we can't do. A lot of us feel submerged and drowning out by what we've been dealing with for so long. And some of us feel like there's no way. Some of us keep going in the same cycles, you know, but the Lord gave us the blueprint. Counsel, prayer, and fasting. You know, so that's the lesson. That concludes the lesson. I hope that, you know, everybody got something out of it. You know, it was on my spirit to go in. You know what I'm saying? To go into. If anybody has questions on fasting, you don't just have to ask me. You know, you can ask, you know, the other captains. You can ask the elders. You can ask, you know, officers of 50. They know how to go into fasting and break fasting down. If they don't know how to do it, you can hit my line. You can hit Shai. You can hit YHWH. You can hit General Gabar. You can hit Elder Panah, and brothers who know about fasting. But I do think that as we're in the end and getting closer, we definitely need to fast a little bit more frequently. And I'm talking about hardcore fasting. You know what I'm saying? Just liquids or just water. Remember, when you do fast, you're giving up the plate and you're giving up food. Tomato. So it's either Celtic or Celtic salt, but it has potassium. It's loaded with minerals. You just sprinkle a pinch of it in your water, right? And the difference between Himalayan and Celtic salt is both of them, they have the same properties and minerals in it, but Celtic salt is water soluble, which means that it goes into the water, right? Himalayan salt doesn't dilute, it doesn't go into the water like that. So it's a little bit harder for your cells in your body to get the minerals that from the Himalayan salt. But the Celtic salt, it'll go right to the cells of your body and rejuvenate your body, and your body get what it needs. Throughout your fast, you just drink it. And if you have a juicer, or beet juice is good, pineapples, apples, you know what I'm saying, your astringents, your astringent family, you could just look that up. Berries don't really juice that good. So what my rib has done is she does is she puts water in a blender, and then she blends up the berries with the water. And then she puts it in a strainer and she scrapes it out, and then that's when the juice comes. So you could do it like that. And then of course your melons and your astringents usually juice really well. You know what I'm saying? So, but your berries don't juice that good, but you have to add water and it'll be fine. Also, I did not go into the health benefits of fasting. Panah is going to drop a great fasting video. It's this Edomite doctor. She goes into the health benefits and the healing that fasting has done. Men and women, sisters and brothers, watch that video. Watch that video. Now, it's a little bit, so I'm going to show y'all something just in case y'all don't have a discerning spirit, because she says a lot of profound things, but one thing that she says is dealing with your woman according to her cycle. There is wisdom in that, right? There's wisdom in that, right? There's knowledge in that. But the whole totality of what she was saying is going into woman worship. So I'm just saying, before y'all watch that That's something that I discern. Y'all not gonna pick that up like that. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, but it's subtle. That's why it's really subtle. But she just talks about different phases of the women's cycle and when to like and what that means. She talks about testosterone, different things like that. Like brothers didn't know that instead of breaking your fast with fish or with fruits or with vegetables, breaking it with meat. And that's not the first time I've heard that. I've actually heard that from another doctor, and I've done my own research. One of the reasons why is because when you go when you introduce, like for instance, vegetables, let's say you did a 3-day fast and you introduce vegetables, because your body has stopped taking in food and it's focused on your cells and it's on regeneration, remineralizing, regenerating your cells, what ends up happening is your digestive system is shut off. When you introduce vegetables back into your body must create bile in order for your vegetables to digest. But when you, for those who eat meat, when you introduce meat back into your system, you know, nothing crazy. Don't go crazy because you're hungry. You know what I'm saying? But it boosts your testosterone by 1,280%. Protein. There's also protein in kale and stuff like that too. So, you know what I'm saying? But if there's fruits that you know there's protein in, go if you're for those who don't eat meat and stuff like that. But something that's high in dense in protein or nuts, you know what I'm saying? But just watch that. She's gonna drop the link. If not tonight, she's gonna drop it tomorrow. It's very, very good. It's very, very informational. Watch that. You know what I'm saying? She talks about all types of stuff. So she's gonna talk about the health benefits of fasting. But I just wanted to go into the depth of what we face, who we are, our identity, what we've been dealing with on this journey, and knowing that it's a war. And these demons, they always want to come back. These evil spirits, they always want to come back. So, you know, hopefully I got something out of that. And I know it's a long class, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully everybody's all right. You know, Barak, if you could take this out, take us out. All praises.
This is Psalm chapter 119. This is by Yah. Says, wherewithal shall the young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. O let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Lest thou, O YHWH, teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies as much as in all riches. I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. In the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, YHWH, the water of Yad, Aman.
Aman.
Aman and Shabbat. Aman. Barak. Yahweh, Ba'ashem,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Thumb.